All right, we live with another episode, Fuel Crutch Podcast. Let's talk about it. This is the summer edition, so I'm coming with friends. Today we're talking about community because I feel like our community that we grew up in was one that holds weight still to this day. Mind you, all of us are well over our 40s. I ain't gonna say well over because I just made 40. Some of these older guys that'll be joining are older. But hey, we're gonna jump into it. It's gonna be a good show. Let's get to it. We back. Like I said, we got. I told you I was bringing friends, so I got. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. Go ahead. Start with Jamal.
Jamal Greer, born and raised South Side Barrett Street. Currently residing in Atlanta, Georgia, for the last 23 years.
Will.
Will Smith, Madison, Wisconsin. I don't get my Southside credibility because I lived on Moreland Road, right behind the field, and but my whole family's on the South. My dad is Southside. My grandparents, aunts, uncles, whole family.
The Smiths.
And I end up moving East Side, so I don't really get the credentials I get for being a Southside dude. But I'm South all day. But everybody, real ones know it. But it is what it is.
So they definitely now say Moreland Road is Southside, right?
They didn't when I grew up. Moreland Road and Nob Hill was suburbs when I grew up.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You still heard?
Different day. But go ahead, Lee. The infamous Lee Stanley, who is still around, pictures floating around Madison still.
I want my residuals. Nah, but Lee Stanley over here. I'm in Cali. I'm a Panther, Spartan, and a Raider. Hey, not a lot of people can say all three.
Facts, I can't.
Yeah. I'm out here with my wife and my three girls. So yeah, Lee Stanley.
Shit,
Southside, because we was out there every day after rehearsal since I was 2. So I'm Southside. I don't care what nobody say.
Go ahead. First, you got to go back because you said after rehearsal. You got to talk about the rehearsal. Then, where was everybody congregated for the rehearsal?
Literally at Mount Zion Baptist Church.
Not the new one. The old one.
The old one that had that one fan that circulated that was slow.
Yeah, exactly. Blazing hot.
Nothing.
That fan wasn't doing nothing.
Man, when that building fund got that AC, woo! No,
Reverend Wright, Pastor Bell, Mount Zion.
Okay, there you go.
And now you throwing it back. People not gonna know what you're talking about on this one.
Yeah.
But first, I definitely wanted to talk about community, but I think there's another community that we're all a part of outside of just the South Side. We're all fathers. Father's Day just passed. Like, speak to what it's like to be a father. We start at the bottom with Lee. We go backwards this time.
Oh man, to be a father, dog, it's a journey. It's a continual lesson every freaking second. But no, it's a beautiful thing, man. It grow you up real quick. I'm loving it. I'm not only I'm a bonus dad too, so I got a chance to learn how to be a dad. That wasn't necessarily my blood. So that was a lot of training. And then I got my young girls, all girls too. So
girl dad, shout out to the girl dads.
Man.
What ages you got?
Man. 24, 16, and 15.
Damn, 24.
Yeah. Jada, she just graduated
wait till you hear my
Arizona State.
She's
in her physician's training, her PA, I think it's physician assistant class.
Congrats.
Physician assistant class. So she's just getting into her school. She got to pick her school now. So yeah, she's 20. She'll be 24 on July the 19th. 16th,
Did you
July
know-
16th. Huh?
Did you know DJ Clark is at Arizona State?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
no longer in Indiana?
No, he's been in Arizona State like I think he's going in his third year there.
Oh, wow. All
He's
right.
on staff at Arizona State.
Oh, wow. Yeah, last time
Pitchforks, baby.
I was in Fort Wayne, I connected with him. I didn't know it's been that long.
Mhm.
Pitchforks up. But yeah, so that's my girls, my fam. It's been great. It's been a challenge, and I love it. I wouldn't trade it for a minute for nothing. I'll do it all over again.
Will, no, you got him.
Yeah, I got 7 children, 8 total with a
Hey
stepdaughter.
now,
And
My I had my first kid in 1999. Malachi, he's 20. I got 26.
I was graduating high school.
yeah,
I got 26, 23, 22, 19, 17, and I got 2 twin girls who are 12. It was hard in the 20s. During that time it was, you didn't really know what you wanted to do in life. You're hustling, you're doing this, that, and the other. You're living a fast life. You don't make right decisions.
man,
You're just out here sleeping around.
trying to survive.
But now it's kind of cool because now you're the cool dad that's 47 years old with all these old kids. Now you're responsible, taking care of them. They understand what happened now.
Right.
What did happen then. Like that narrative's not out there no more that you was a horrible piece of shit. You know what I'm talking about? Like stuff like that. But yeah,
shoot, you got them at the age where they old enough and going through their own stuff so they really can see.
absolutely. And just like, outside of circles like we got, like we know each other. We know how cool, we know what kind of good people we are. No matter what left turns we make, we understand that. But like on the outside looking in, they could look like, this nigga got 8 kids and 8 baby mamas. That's the narrative. They always run with the negative. You know what I'm saying? It's always a negative space, but yeah, I'm good now, and I love my kids. I take care of all of them, and we all communicate. And I'm 47 years old, 8 children, a lovely wife.
Damn.
Nigga.
You got 8 kids? No.
8 kids. He got starting 5 and 3 off the bench.
Good Lord, he got an AAU squad.
Right.
Hell yeah, I would love it. One of them jokers got to go pro.
He went away from a whole softball squad.
Hey,
Nice.
much love and shout out to you.
Nah, man, you doing it well, man. I see your work out there, Teach.
The most
You been
beautiful
doing a
thing
good
you
job.
said is that all y'all still you communicate with all of them.
Absolutely.
Not,
Yeah.
not everybody can say that. Maul,
Yeah.
it's on you. Since you want to share my name.
First of all, you share my name. I'm with you first. I was on Bear Street first. No, I love fatherhood, man. I think that we just dropped them off with grandmas for a couple weeks, and
Oh, Snapalicious.
yeah.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks?
For 2 weeks. We about to head out of the country for a while.
Oh yeah, you and wife, you about to have fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. On that.
They're about to exhale.
But
They're
no,
about to
man,
exhale for real.
it's weird to like, my son is 14, my daughter's 12, and just think about him going to high school is wild.
Yeah.
Right. All y'all have already been through it, right? Like sending the kid to high school and like looking at him. We wear the same size shoe. The outfit he wore to church today were my clothes that I handed down. Wild. You get a little nostalgic thinking about, man, like, you don't have much time left, right? Like of them in the house.
Right. Yeah.
But I love every bit of it. We're going through that middle school phase with 2 in middle school at the same time that all y'all have gone through as well. It was a beast this year. But they both, came out killing it, doing their thing. And so it's a wonderful journey. It can be extremely trying at times, but extremely rewarding too. They both are amazing, man. They kill it everything they do. They're their own individual person. They're completely different, even though they're raised in the same house. So it's just like you said, it's always it's a journey that never ends. And you're always trying to learn something.
Always learning. So can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you adopted the Ron Greer effect, or how did you modify your fathering? Being fathered by Ron Greer.
And we'll have to. That's probably something that Yubi goes into the set context. Because everybody on the South Side knows Ron Greer, the Tsar.
You're goddamn right we do.
And my wife will tell you, like, sometimes I say certain things, and then like you swear he's sitting here in the house with us, like it's him saying it. So I'm definitely much more like him as a dad than I ever thought I'd be. But even he is now a soft chump now.
Everybody say that. Dakari just told me that.
Oh man, listen, y'all wouldn't even recognize this dude now. Like they call him Poppy. They don't call him Granddad, but they call him Poppy. Like he a punk now. Like, buying gifts, giving tons of money away, building playgrounds, adding extra little handles to the door for Dakari's daughter to be able to come in and out of the house as she at 3 years old if she wants to. So and then he'll tell me like, "Hey, don't be so hard on them. Don't be so hard on them." I'm like, if there's one person
who said that?
Exactly. If there's one person I want to hear from, is him. If my mom told me that, I'd be like, "All right, Mom."
He's like, "Shut up, Dad."
But no, I do take a lot
he's a good dad.
Things from my dad and fatherhood. A lot of it is mainly, character, work ethic, want you to think critically, and my son take care of his sister, take care of his mom.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing to watch.
I mean, showing him how he's supposed to treat his wife, showing my daughter how she's supposed to be treated, by how I treat my wife, things like that I got from my dad are still very much a part of my my fatherhood practices.
You say freaking a lot, huh? Get over there, get off the freaking wall.
He said, you used to say frickin'.
Freaking, that's what it was. Yeah,
frickin' all the time. I don't say frickin'.
You're like freaking off.
I don't use the frickin'.
I got you. But no, that's amazing.
I'm
man.
a little less edited than he was sometimes.
I got you.
But no, I'm definitely. I'm not a drill sergeant dad, but I'm very, consistent. You know what I mean?
That's a good way to put it.
But is my wife tell you I got act tough, but I'm a softie as a dad, and she just yells soft in the background.
And you wrong, man. Don't be calling them out.
But no, like I love hanging with my kids. Like me and my kids do a lot. We have specific shows we watch together. We go to the movies all the time. That's something my dad did with us, take us to movies all the time.
He misses them already.
Right. She said I miss them already. I do a little bit. My son was looking very I thought he was looking a little sad when we left, so that was pulling at me a little bit. But no, I love it, man. I love working out with my kids every morning. Like, I love that stuff.
Nah, salute to you.
All right, well, jumping right into that.
So we don't talk about you at all, Jamal.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about me. I mean,
we don't talk about your kids and your fatherhood.
All right. So mine gonna go two-folded because it'll jump right into the next thing. So
go ahead.
I got two girls, 15, 17, soon to be 16 and 18.
Man, I don't know that.
Scary to me.
Man.
Thinking about like out of all of y'all, I'm the youngest, and then about to have one that graduates and ready to try and leave the nest. Fatherhood has been amazing. It's something that I always wanted to be a part of, for my own personal reasons, because I just didn't really have that father figure, which is another reason why like I connected with y'all for sure, because y'all had active dads. Y'all had active dads and I couldn't even see mine. So I always tried to be around y'all's families, the Kilgores, adding them in there too. And so like I super appreciated being able to see that. There's times where it hurt because like y'all could be outside playing football or going to the movies or whatever the case was. And I'm kind of like, dang, I hope that they allow me to go with them, which I know James Kilgore used to look out a lot. Mr. Greer used to look out a lot. Mr. Stanley used to look out a lot. Will's whole family looked out, from Jeffrey, Will, David, all of them. Everybody did. So it was super appreciative. But because of that, I wanted to make sure that I was a father, to make sure my kids got the experiences that I didn't get to. But that's also a part of why community is so huge to me, because of what I lacked but gained in other areas. So for that kind of segue, we start with Will. Like, so what was it like just growing up with your own father?
The South Side legend.
Right.
Go ahead and give him his flowers right now.
You got to talk about what he established, the South Side legacy down there.
Staple.
Yeah.
Killer.
I didn't really understand like who he was, what like how powerful he was at first. I just was a little scraggler running around with him. He like building the South Side radio program when he chose to stop playing sports in high school when he was 16 years old to start a youth football program, which is bananas, because he was crazy athletic, the whole Smiths, him, Jeffrey, Mickey, all of them, David. It just was like, and I didn't realize what that was at first, but then going to my grandma DeVoe's house all the time, right there, right across from Lincoln on Sequoia, and just running on the South Side, it was bananas to see the impact this dude had. You know what I mean? Like he just was, and obviously Pearlie's was around. Obviously he probably sold dope, drank, that and the other. You know what I'm talking about? Like just, just like in general, like regular, because remember, he wasn't old. You know what I mean? He was a father like we were, when he was in his 30s and whatnot. And just like, but the shit he did with the Southside program was crazy.
No,
I don't even understand how that even, being a 16-year-old kid, whatever fundage he got, like how did he even do that? No, I've never really asked him.
Yo, I'm today years old finding out he started the Raiders at 16. I knew he started it.
I am too.
I had no idea he started it at 16.
I had no clue.
I didn't want to cut you off.
That's crazy.
He stopped playing varsity sports to start a youth football program, dog.
That's wild.
And
that's legendary in itself.
He was coaching people like he wasn't even old.
Dog.
You coaching 14-year-olds. You know what I mean? Like, and then he just went on to do that and then coached the girls' state championship team at West, which was with his sisters on the team, and Mary Henderson and Charmaine and all them.
Legendary team. Legendary team.
That's crazy.
Was that the one with Val?
Val, yeah.
Yeah.
And then just that whole process of being a Southside Raider and just living on the South Side and being there just is crazy. Everybody I've met, all your families, you know what I'm saying? Just seeing Maul, seeing Huey, seeing Lee, seeing Derek, all y'all were amazing athletes. You know what I mean? Like Lee, you were my favorite actually, out of everybody.
Oh, you better stop it right now.
You can say what you want to say, but every time I saw you, I always tell you were my favorite. Like you were so dynamic and prolific at sports.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, I never want to hype Lee head up, but I agree.
I appreciate that. No.
And then
so I was younger. So looking at Lee, I was like, I always thought Lee was like bigger than what he really is, like size wise.
No, listen, these have been the same size when we were like 10. So he was huge. Listen, he was huge at first. He was taller than everybody, bigger than everybody, and then at like 12, he stopped growing. Lee was
unstoppable. You couldn't do nothing with Lee. You couldn't do nothing with him.
Well, this don't record. Hold on, you recording all these?
And
man, it's live and it's going to be on Facebook forever.
Hey, and you were our manager.
I know. I was a bone crusher back in the day.
That's right.
You were our manager.
Right.
You was giving us water. You was straggling around.
I had to hit the hill too.
I know.
That's
listen, let's chime in on that because UB's mom, like he talked about not having his dad around. UB's mom was extremely intentional about making sure he's always involved in something.
That's good. That's good.
Always around positive male figures, like building community around UB. I think I was probably in middle school or high school if I realized your dad wasn't even really there.
No, my mom is
like,
she still does.
Serious. If you think about it, I didn't think about UB not having a dad.
Say that again, Jamal.
Like I never thought about you not having it because your mom always had you either with the Raiders, at the center with David, at the church with Deacon Bond, and Uncle Clyde, and my dad, and Lee, and Uncle Larry James, and everybody around. Like you were always with Uncle Harry at Ogden. Like, man, your mom is one of the dope single moms.
Shout out, Mom. Right. Love you, Mom.
Yeah.
You said you hit it on the nose, Jamal. She was so dope, we didn't even realize she didn't have a dad.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Right.
That's crazy.
Think about that, dog. Like, think about how old you were. You realized UB dad went around.
Because none of y'all have ever seen him.
Ever in my life. I don't know what his name is.
You're right.
Because I never think about you as a kid who didn't have a dad around.
No, that's fascinating.
You know how cold of a single mom you have to be that cats don't even realize your son don't have a dad.
Right.
Jamal, you got to be. First of all, he's not even he's well spoken, super educated. You know what I'm talking about? Like this, Huey is crazy. You thought he had the father off Good Times.
Exactly. Listen, never got in trouble.
Right.
Never got in trouble.
Shout out to mom.
There
you go. Oh, you did your thing.
Mr.
Oh
Londa,
yeah,
one of the greats.
Flowers is coming in the mail.
One of the greats.
You thought he had James Evans as a daddy.
Right.
All I had to do was walk down Bear Street. I run into James Kilgore, Ron Greer. It was just like it.
Yeah.
Percy Brown, the Quiet Storm, Percy Brown Sr.
Larry Jackson.
Larry
Jackson. I was about to say Larry Jackson around the corner.
Street.
Yeah, Larry Jackson around the corner.
And the pastor was right there. Didn't Dawson live right on the corner too?
Karen James.
No, Pastor Dawson, they live further up.
Who was that on the corner? Jinx.
Karen James.
Okay. Oh, okay.
KJ. Jinx mom was like a dad.
Yeah. Y'all bring back memories. I just ran into Jinx for the first time like in 15 years. But anyway.
Yeah, that's my best friend. That's my ace, my right hand.
Yeah.
Still swole as hell for no reason.
Gigolo.
Now you want to talk about a running back. Man.
Hey, look, now y'all about to take it to a whole nother.
Lee, let Huey do his show.
My bad.
No, we gonna get there too because
he gonna get to the sports. He gonna get to the sports.
I got a lot on Peyton's story, but go ahead.
Because that's a community too. But finish with the, you know, just being there and having your pops in your lives. So like, Will, did you finish or you still got more? Because I know that.
I appreciate.
Okay, that's where we were.
Just the whole demographic of being like the world kind of made it like cool to be not having two parents. Like you were corny if you had two parents. Like what I'm talking about? Like that's the way the world kind of worked back then. Like we were squares because we had, but no, nigga, that's what I had a dad. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? And no shade to motherfuckers that didn't have no dads, but shit, that's what it was. And I had two parents, and they worked. And, we were way more independent back then. So
way more.
I never saw my parents. I was outside all day. They worked their asses off. That's why they both retired after 50 years, and they whatever they did. And now it's like it's just I'm blessed to have two parents. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. And
that's rich.
For anybody that talks about that's corny, you live with two parents and they made good money and you were square, this, that, and the other. Like that
sounds dumb as hell.
That sounds dumb as hell. Right. Like, what do you want me to do? You want me to not have a dad and be miserable and fighting and committing crime? Like that shit, the narrative is crazy. The world is crazy. But that's what it is. I had
make themselves feel a little bit better. That's all about their situation.
Maul, go ahead, because I want Lee to go last because Lee Sr. was very influential, even though I didn't spend much time in the house, but he came to the schools.
The rap alphabet. No, I think that, man, I didn't fully appreciate my dad until I was growing and out the house. Right? Like, if you know me and my dad, we had a very contentious relationship from like 9th, 10th grade until like almost out of college. Because we're so
heathen.
Huh?
Because you was a heathen. Right. But
first of all, no.
Sorry.
But two, we're so much alike that we bumped heads a ton, right? And as I got older, I realized he just saw so much of me and him, so much of him and me. And he know where that attitude and that temper got him, that he was trying to make sure I didn't make some of the same mistakes, right? But he'll tell you too, like there's a different way he could have gone about that, and he's taught me about how to do it differently with my son. Either my son's nothing, like I don't know where he got this from. My son is, I don't even check that dude's homework. He gets straight A's. Like I don't know. That's a different.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, that's a blessing. He's made me think I'm a parent of the year, and then my daughter makes it feel like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But no, I think that like having my dad, because I was spoiled, right? So I had my dad, I had both granddads, I had my uncles, My mom and dad did a great job putting community around us. Uncle Lee, David Smith, Aubrey Lewis Byers, Deacon Bond, Uncle Clyde, put us in those camps with like
Shout out to
Aubrey.
Nestic before you go there.
Yeah, that's
Swear to God,
hilarious.
me and my sister sang an attitude adjustment to my nephew yesterday.
There you go. Exactly.
ATTITUDE. Adjust
So, like,
your attitude.
Even the
Facts.
kind of camps they used to put around us, right? If you think about like my dad putting us in Camp of the Center. And those y'all young South Side folks that know the Boys and Girls Club, when we grew up, it was called the
Center.
SMNC, South Madison Neighborhood Center. And David Smith, the legend, another Smith staple on the South Side, had folks like Aubrey,
Lewis Byers.
Not Lewis Byers, Aubrey.
Wait, time out.
Not Aubrey Lewis Byers. Aubrey Lewis Byers was Janesville Craig. What's Aubrey's last name?
Aubrey Johnson was.
Yeah, Aubrey Johnson.
Aubrey Johnson, my bad. I was on the sports tip already.
Big O.
Yeah, a big O. Aubrey, John Carr, Cedric. Yep. Shout out Nestic. My older brother Cedric was a counselor. Like just having like the young dudes ahead of them, like in between, because they was not that much older than us. And then, but having that middle generation in between there, Miss Belinda at the rec center with Antoine and them, like. Just the amount of community they surrounded us with was amazing. My Uncle Larry. When I was in Knucklehead, he had my Uncle Larry talk to me. He had James Stafford talk to me. Deacon Bond talk to me. Uncle Clyde talk to me.
Man, Price Davis.
Price Davis.
What's the young man that passed?
Orlando Magruder. That's the first time I ever said a theater
people all day.
They put so many people around us, man. Because my dad knew, like, even when I wouldn't listen to him, there was other people he had already surrounded me with that I would listen to, and he would just channel messaging through them, right? And so
that is a hidden gem that is underrated as hell.
Underrated.
Somebody that you understands that can speak to them that they'll listen to even when they're not listening to you.
And think about how our ego and pride as a dad, and still being able to be like, hey, my son might not listen to me. I appreciate how you mentor him. Would you mind saying this, or mind keeping him on the same path?
Would you mind if I send him to California?
That right, there you go.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's like shoot Terrell Fletcher. We didn't talk about the Badgers that came there, like Tracy Webster. Tracy Webster.
I still talk to Tracy.
Tracy lives down the street from me right now.
Wow. I still talk to Tracy.
Yeah, I talk. Tracy lives 5 minutes, like literally 3 or 4 blocks from me.
Listen, Rashard Griffith and Howard Moore, still mess with me to this day. Howard is still around and working with Rashard, but man, until before his accident, he still messed with me tough.
I saw Howard at Peace Jam in 2018, 2019, and he still remembered me.
That's crazy.
And said, "What up, Jay?" Took a picture of me and everything, right? So there's just so much community that our parents built around us, and I know we'll probably get to more of this, on the pod. But I truly appreciate the community my dad built around me, and I think the main thing I appreciate that I hated back then is his unwavering. He was unwavering on what he thought was best for us and his standard for us, right? So it's like, and now today, that's one of the main things I keep my son. I'm like, no, my expectation is here, and I expect you to hit this. Yeah. Or at least shoot for this every day.
At least try to go for it. Yeah.
I want to see your best effort. My wife and I talk to my son and my daughter all the time, like, give me your best effort and we'll go from there. Right? Like, you won't always hit it out the park. But if you give me a best effort and you hit a pop fly, cool. You gave me your best effort. All I asked was your best effort, because what I didn't realize early on, it's like I grown. My wife actually pointed out, is like, I never accept failure. I remember I lost a job one time years ago, and she was like, Jamal, I've never seen anybody work harder when they didn't have a job to get a job than they did when they had a job. Right? And like, that was my dad instilling that in us, like, yo, you don't accept that. Like, you gotta keep going. Like, what? Yeah, you're having a bad day, but the bills still got to get paid. Your kids still got to eat. Your kids should not feel what you're going through. Yeah. Right. And so, and maybe we get to that a little later. Everything my dad went through in Madison, and I didn't know the half of it until I got older. Right. But like, that's one of the main things I appreciate about
how my dad, a pioneer.
Like that. that standard that was always set and never wavered on, and it made me be able to persevere and be who I am today. Like I definitely wouldn't be here without my dad.
Nice.
No, that's what's up.
Absolute
Yeah, we're gonna jump to Lee, but I'm gonna chime in just because everything that Jamal just said, that my mom did for me, like being able to see her persevere and work through things. I was old enough to see her when she went back to school and got her accounting degree. I also was there when she had to work 2-3 jobs to go clean a building late at night because I had to go with her. So like all those intangibles, those things that she picked up, I saw. And so I kind of incorporated them into my life. And so like I done been there. I done had the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, and had to figure things out because like you said, you may have lost a job today, but you still got kids and mouths to feed. So what you gonna do?
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of people don't know this. My dad was he was a minister at Mount Zion, but he was the janitor at Mount Zion for a while.
I didn't know that.
And a lot of people don't know that. So I saw my dad do it all, man. Work at Fast Forward,
firefighter,
church, firefighter, pastor, young life minister, all that.
Beast. Nah, he was beast.
Lee, go ahead and bring this one home.
What now? What am I talking about again? My dad?
Yeah, just that influence.
Your
with having him in your life.
One of the greatest athletes to ever come out of Wisconsin.
And listen, I didn't know he was a great athlete for real, until we played in a 3-on-3 tournament maybe 5-6 years ago. And I was like, this dude's still jumping and just hanging in the air.
Oh, you super late. I saw Uncle Lee dunk. I think that's one of the first dads ever saw him dunk.
Pops to get it in.
I didn't get to see him, but I'm growing up playing with Derek, and he was a freak athlete, which tears ACL, still go out and windmill. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and then tears MCL and still go. But no, man, Pops. I didn't like Jamal said. I didn't recognize the greatness of my dad until later on. I definitely called him and apologized a few times. Like, man, my bad. But just I don't know, man. Just watching him do his thing, from like taking us everywhere to all the track meets and when he was at college, still doing the student gospel choir, all that stuff, and so. I just saw him work.
I'm gonna interrupt. Before you finish, let's put a pin in student gospel choir and come back to that because that is instrumental in why we're all even here. But go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, started the student gospel. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So that's all it was. My dad was a hustler, man. He if he wasn't at the fire station, he was playing on the weekends at the malls. You know what I mean? The little jazz music or playing with I think it was a Jazz America. The band was got on the Wheel of Fortune, went to the Olympic tryouts in '84, came back home with a grandbaby piano and enough gum to last us for about 2 years. You know what I mean? So little stuff like that. So we just watching the progression, man. And went from the white rundown rusted Chevy on the east side, and we just saw the progression. Moved to the west side and kept going up the fire. He just always working. So, man, just watching him just hustle and do everything and be a freakish athlete in the Battle State games. You always just watch him run past the finish line and wait for everybody else to come after, like at least 2-3 seconds after. So he was just an amazing person, man. And I didn't he's still with us. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say it like he was gone.
I saw him today.
Yeah, he's still with us. But no, he's amazing, man. Like you said, ACL. He tore. I mean, his patella tendon, then tore his quad later on. But he's just been amazing, man. Just watching him and my mom. She had her own business, her own daycare, and she worked for the state. And so those pillars that we have. My uncle was on the south side too. He was down next door to Jamal, and watching him.
Say his name. Come on,
Rodney.
Isadore Knox.
My boy Rodney. Oh,
Isadore Knox. Yeah.
I'm like, who is Rodney?
No, Rodney was Rodney. When he said next door, my next door neighbor was Rodney.
Yeah. Two doors down.
2 doors down was Izzy and Cheryl Knox, the founders of South Side Panthers.
South Side Panthers, and my uncle is on the board of South Side Raiders right now. So it has been for some time. And he sent 5 college. He sent 5 children to college, so he's always been like another father, figure in the community that we have.
I forgot about that. Shout out Izzy. I forgot to mention Izzy.
Yeah,
He was definitely
Izzy,
the quiet storm on the South Side.
Yeah, council.
No. Quiet storm
Congressman.
is a real great term to use for him, because I sat and had a conversation with him maybe last summer, and I was like, oh, I had no clue it was to this level.
Yeah. He's
always been a dope dude. Always.
He's a councilman. He's a councilman, right?
Yeah, for the South Side.
Yeah. So,
of course he
is. just having all those, and my dad always progressing. So yeah, and just going on the South Side, like we were saying earlier, he would start the student gospel choir, but then he was the minister of music at Mount Zion. So we was at rehearsals the Tuesday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We was at church all week, pretty
Saturday
much. Saturday morning. You know what I mean? So when we get done, he had to do something. We'd go out on the South Side, see what was going on. Went to Penn Park and to the center and met, the Hesses, the Smiths, and the Jacksons, and the Greers, and everybody. You know what I mean? So
now listen, I need you to go ahead and talk about, because people think about going to church all the time. Talk about literally what a week of Mount Zion looked like. Choir rehearsal. What was it? The young adult. What was it? The teen on the Wednesday night.
The young adult choir with Daryl and
Daryl.
What was the girl's name? That was his
Renita Evans.
Renita.
I think
Wednesday night Bible study.
I'm trying to figure out what day was there not a day where you could have been at the church.
Monday was really the only day we weren't at the church.
Yeah, Monday. Because Tuesday, Wednesday Bible study, Thursday was rehearsal, young adult choir.
Wednesday was Bible study.
Yeah, Wednesday was Bible study. We probably there on Friday for a meeting or something.
Saturday was like the only day I wasn't there. I felt like, but
you said what?
Friday felt like the only day I wasn't there. But Monday
Mondays and Fridays are the only days I wasn't at the church. But you
Monday,
definitely always Saturday. Sunday Carla kicked me out of choir rehearsal and I had to walk home.
Mondays I felt like I was still there, because if you think about football practice with the Raiders, everybody still went and congregated in the parking lot.
Yeah. And we played 21. I remember we played 21. We have our church shoes on, playing 21 in that little rim.
Yes.
Maybe like 30 of us out there trying to get that. Now I want to talk about the training ground that was put on at Penn Park. The training ground, period.
Think about before you go
athlete.
there. Think about
the
level of track meets that used to happen outside of church in them church shoes.
Oh yeah.
Listen, crazy.
Everybody raced.
Everybody raced. Because remember, you had the apartments behind the church with PJ, James White. All them used to live back there. Toast. All them used to stay over there. It really get real.
We'll be in the Hoy's backyard. Remember the Hoy's had a backyard? Yeah. We used to play well, I can't say that. What's the proper term?
Listen.
Rugby.
Yeah. So
I know we used to call it.
I wasn't allowed to go to Hoy's house.
Shout out to Rainey Briggs for tuning in. Like, this is another form of community, because we all rally behind him. You saw the country, the world kind of rally behind him. Stuff that he's experienced.
Right. Got out to Cali.
We appreciate you and standing your ground and not reverting back to some South Side ways.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
I swung on buddy. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Not South Side.
That'd have been a world star.
We appreciate that, Rainey. Don't let the sack come out of you.
Yo, let me rewind to something real quick before we move on. A major reason a lot of us are even at Mount Zion on the South Side, my family, the Gaines, a lot of people, right? The McDowells, a lot of people, is because Lee Stanley Sr., like Lee said, was a student, started the student gospel choir at UW, but at the time was also the head of music ministry at Mount Zion. Mount Zion was kind of dying off a little bit, didn't have a good musical choir or any young blood coming into the church. Lee brought the student gospel choir over there. So anybody who grew up in the church and know the Inspiration Choir, or was it Inspirational Choir? Inspirational Choir, like all our parents were in, that was literally the student gospel choir from UW that came over to Mount Zion with Lee.
I didn't realize that.
To sing on Saturdays and just stayed.
Yeah.
So that's how all of us ended up growing up Mount Zion together, is because of the student gospel choir that Lee brought over from UW.
It's crazy.
And it literally all just kept growing from that. So the Inspirational Choir at UW was a student gospel choir. Inspiration Choir at Mount Zion was a student gospel choir at UW. They just came to sing on Sundays.
So essentially, you're saying Deacon Stanley is the reason that there's the connection with UW and Mount Zion, and that's still
100%. 100%. There's no other. That's one, not 50%, not 90%, 100%.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason why Mount Zion ended up growing quicker. Because back then you had basically two black churches. You had Mount Zion and St. John's. St. John's where all the Smiths went. That's where David Smith was.
I thought that was Second Baptist. That was Second Baptist?
My bad. Second Baptist.
Yeah.
Second Baptist. That's where Candace Smith and all them went. They all went there. And then we had Mount Zion. That was the two main black churches. There was one on the east side. I can't remember the name of it. That's where like Marquise and them went. But
wow, you keep bringing up these names. I'm like, oh.
I still talk to Marquise. That's my dog. Yeah. But there was one on the east side. But, on the south side, we didn't even know what was going on the east side. And so
we didn't need to.
Exactly. And so the main two churches, but if you came to Mount Zion and you went to Second Baptist, you can see there's a stark difference in like the age demographic of the church, right? One church had Lee Stanley bringing over all the UW students, and one church did not.
Man,
that's literally the difference.
That's history. That's history, man. That's crazy. Yeah, man, it was a great experience. It was a great experience.
So one of the questions I wanted to really ask, because of the different conversations that we've had about community, I just wanted to see like what is community to you, or what has community meant to you? Because Jamal, Lee, Will, we've talked about it, and as much as we've all traveled the world, the states, and been different places, I still can't pinpoint where I've been and I felt a stronger sense of community than us growing up in Madison on the South Side of Madison.
Listen, man, I tell people all the time, I would put my childhood from 81 to when I leave Wisconsin, 2001, up against anybody else's childhood and upbringing ever. When you watch movies like The Wood or, like Best Man, like that's how we grew. Sandlot, like that's how we grew up. Like it wasn't a movie; sure. It was real life.
Yeah, no, for real.
You know what I'm saying? Like
you said, Sandlot, but then sprinkle in the adults, because in Sandlot you didn't really see the adults collaborate or connect.
Sandlot was basically summer day camp at the center, mixed with vacation Bible school and sports camp at MSCR Sports Camp. Shout out to Will. Still was helping build MSCR Sports Camp. Put together, right? Because I didn't see my mom and daddy from the time I left the house at 8 a.m. until about 6 p.m.
No, this is fact.
And they wasn't worried about us.
And we were taking the bus at like in the 3rd, 4th grade.
Listen, bro,
it's crazy.
I could not imagine my kids leaving my house and in my neighborhood for an hour these days.
Yeah.
Knowing where they're at.
Listen,
we were gone.
Remember when y'all moved to Fitchburg? I rode my bike out to y'all house,
and vice versa. We were riding our bike back from Fitchburg to the south side almost every day. Like, think about that. Like, that's how long is that? About 8 miles?
Man, that's far. And when you think about it right now, that's far.
That's far as heck. Dog, we were riding our bikes back. I was telling my kids about that the other day. Right? And actually, we're coming home in August, and I can't wait to show them this stuff, right? Because they hear the stories, but like, I was telling my wife, I can't imagine like my kids riding their bikes that long, those two, like from one neighborhood to the other every day. No cell phones.
Yeah, no cell phones. That's crazy.
No pages, no nothing. Like, you just know we're gone.
My kids can't ride
bikes. Be back by a certain time.
They don't know how to ride bikes.
Well, my kids do. My kids definitely. That's once again the Ron Greer thing. My kids had bikes. My son started riding his bike at 2. No training.
My kids can't catch.
Oh, I'm gonna say it's a parenting failure. That's all you.
My kids, no. I see kids in full blown 7th grade that airball and can't catch footballs.
Listen,
what?
No, dog. That's you gotta force them. Like, my son is not some basketball all-star, but he can make a layup right hand and left hand.
I had 22 touchdowns in 7th grade, and they can't catch.
Listen, dog. So, right. But then it also speaks to, like we said, community, right?
Yeah, 22.
My parents knew that when we were out, we were cool because of community.
Yeah. They
knew if Larry Jackson saw us, or Percy Brown saw us, or David Smith saw us, or whoever, we were good to go. There was one or two people on every block that would help us if something happened. We could go in their house and call somebody if something happened.
and whoop your ass.
Yeah.
That part too. And snatch you up.
Now I can say that I never got one of them community whoopings, but I did get that phone call.
Oh, my dad definitely whooped you. My dad definitely whooped you one time.
I used to try and think I was leaving before he got to me. I
remember one time he caught all of it. Me, you, Imani Dakari, and Sherrod and Tony Harris in the backyard doing something stupid, and he whooped us in the garage.
I always tried to just get out when one started going in one by one. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna just go.
I was scared to go over there.
99.9% of the time, you will always avoid the trouble. But I do remember this one time we all got caught. I think we had got caught jumping the train. Y'all remember we used to jump the train on the south side?
Oh man, the train tracks was a staple.
Lee, I don't know if y'all ever did this.
No, right, all the way in the back.
Yeah, exactly. Like jumping the train. I was explaining to my wife the other day. I'm amazed that we're alive.
Yeah, no, for real.
Or just stupid games from the train tracks throwing rocks at the cars.
Duh. Or putting rocks on the train track so the train track go by and pop the rocks, not thinking that rock could pop you in your eye.
I hit a girl. I hit a girl when I was in third grade. Throwing rocks. I hit a girl in the eye. She had to get a new eye.
I told my daughters, we used to climb a tree and sit in the tree and have conversations for an hour.
Yes.
In a tree.
Yeah.
In a tree.
Yeah.
No, hold on.
For hours.
And I'm not talking about I'm talking about nigga was 40 feet up in a tree.
Yeah.
Yo, so I'm gonna tell you a funny story, right? So this is
backflip off the center.
Fall of 2020 during the pandemic. This is right before we come out the pandemic. And my wife was at home teaching. My kids are at home going virtual. And my wife calls me freaking out, right? My daughter she comes outside. My son is the worst liar ever. He's like the world's dumbest criminal, right? So she comes out she's teaching. She can't see them in the front, right? Her whole class, she don't know where they're at. She comes out. My son runs right up to the door to meet her. So she automatically knows y'all out here doing something I ain't been doing. She's like, "Where's your sister?" So I get the call. She's freaking out. She's like, "I came outside. Your son runs up to me, so I know something's wrong. I can't find your daughter." All of a sudden, here she comes rappelling down from this tree. So I look on the Ring camera. My daughter has to be 20 feet up in this tree because you can't even see her on the screen.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, she drops out of nowhere with a piece of yarn tied to her waist. So my wife is hot. I come home from work. She still got them running hills for 20 minutes, right? I'm crying laughing because she's freaking out. I'm like, babe, we all climb trees. She's like, I didn't climb trees like that. I said, well, we definitely.
Nobody.
What's up, Leslie?
They said, "What's up?" Say what's up.
Who's that? That one of the babies?
That's his wife, Leslie. Yeah.
Oh.
So we definitely climbed trees growing up, like crazy. But yeah, going back to your point, about
they used to backflip off. Remember the center had the dome? They used to backflip off of that. I was like, oh my gosh, we crazy.
Oh yeah, hood kids in Atlanta still do that. I've seen some hopefuls at some of the schools and everything I worked at in Atlanta. Like they still do that. I was never coordinated enough to backflip.
I came back.
I was gonna break my neck.
Shit.
I tried it one time and I'm glad I didn't break my neck. It shouldn't have been broken.
I did backflip.
Let me say something about this. We created our era's homemade gymnasts. Like we had gymnasts.
Oh,
no, hold on, nigga. I had first of all, Ricky Fleming was 4'11", 275 pounds. And that hold on. And that motherfucker would do
a CeeLo Green body.
I'm gonna go in our lingo. That nigga did a flip flop no, flip flop no, boyoing, flip flop no, flip flop aerial, Arabian flip flop no, nigga. How?
The jokers used to lay out too, just like with perfect form.
And Ricky was built like CeeLo.
I couldn't do that off a pissy mattress. I couldn't do none of that.
And then you had the other. We had so many, like the athletes we had. Like some niggas had 2% body fat.
No, bro.
Stink.
My era. Gargamel, Curtis Brown, Lamont Murphy. These niggas had. I'm talking. They was shredded up like Amistad. Give us 3. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Don't forget Bass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you. And then you had the one guy, Jermaine James, who just was the best at every fucking thing. in the earth. I don't understand. Jermaine Joseph James is the best athlete I've ever seen. I mean, that's like Tom Shepard. You know what I'm talking about?
No, pure
talent, fatal flaw, not fatal. God bless. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? Like, just like, goddamn.
That was Toast
the
for
most
me.
unassuming athleticism. One, Toast is the fastest guy I've seen in my life. Toast is the fastest. The fact that your name is Toast.
Right.
He was fast.
Listen,
hold on.
Toast was
the most
cold
unassuming
everything.
We first of all, hold on. Toast got his name from us.
Yeah. Listen, we know this. Well,
that backfield was crazy.
Yes. So the most unassuming athlete of all time that had crazy athleticism was John Carr.
John freaking Carr. One of my favorite basketball. You're talking about the gym.
Listen, he had crazy bounce. Listen, he had dad bod at like 18.
John Carr was a grown man.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. He had a dad bod. Like, he had a dad that was dunking on dudes.
I knew I was
going to be 6'1".
No, he's 5'8", 5'9".
Like, he was punching.
John Carr's 5'9".
Yes.
John Carr's like 5'9", 5'10".
Listen, I thought John Carr was huge until I came back from college. No. And I was like, hold on, I'm taller than you?
John Carr was huge.
Hey, you know who else was a crazy athlete that I thought was taller than what he was until I got older and realized he wasn't that tall? Brian Kennedy.
Oh, yeah, but me and Brian the same height.
Brian Kennedy is a 6'1" power forward.
Yeah.
Okay, here.
But listen, Brian Kennedy was Amistad for real, though.
No.
Brian Kennedy had an 8-foot wingspan.
So now I can't see. You turn this into some shit. Stop.
Yeah. No. Will. He's not saying he was like on the level we're talking about. But we're talking about athleticism. Like, Brian Kennedy was dunking in like 7th, 8th grade, two-handed.
I gotta get.
What's your face looking like? BK. I never did play for. Listen,
he wasn't dunking. He wasn't dunking like Rockman Weatherby.
I was just gonna say I gotta talk about Rockman Weatherby
too.
He was not dunking like Rockman Weatherby.
Here's what I'm telling you,
and Milk.
Will. And you and I are usually on the same page. Yeah. I'm telling you to lean on that and trust me on this. Yes, he was.
I know BK.
And listen, I was at Memorial with Rock. Like, Rock was my dog. Rock was another amazing athlete who I thought was a super tall dude until like late in high school. I'm like, we're the same height. But
right.
I remember knowing BK and BK and BK, you know what I mean? Don't disrespect you, my dog. BK was a goofball. Lonnie was a smooth one out of their family.
Yeah, Lonnie was. Yeah,
Lonnie was smooth. He was Lonnie reminded me of Magic Johnson. He taught like Magic. So BK was the goofy one of the family. I had no idea BK was this kind of athlete. Because on the South Side, he was never. We played football, and he was never like a first pick. He was always like a goofier guy. Ben Bry's dad had a Merrill Lynch sponsored basketball team.
All right.
A lot of people don't know this. He broke off and took a bunch of dudes from the Spartans. So he had like Mike Collins playing with him.
Yeah.
He had Porky playing with him. He had BK playing with
him. Yes.
Woo. I was at. It was. I never forget this. It's Memorial. This is when they first opened up the field house. It's like 93, 94. I'm watching this game. BK comes on a fast break.
I remember this.
And punches this thing two-handed. These boys were in 8th grade, dog. I'm talking about not scrape it in there. I'm talking about dunks, hangs from the rim. I was blown away.
We're gonna disagree. We're gonna agree to disagree on this one.
I had no idea. Because to me, Lonnie was the better basketball player in that family.
I can't go with you on this one. I just can't.
That's cool. I'm just trying to tell you.
I didn't even know Lonnie hooped.
Oh, Lonnie was nice.
Nah,
I won't say nice. Lonnie was smooth. Lonnie was man. Remember at the time when we were younger, I was trash. So everybody seemed super nice to me.
No, you weren't.
No, middle school I was trash, Will.
No, you weren't.
You don't remember this, Will, because you started hooping with me when I got to high school.
I was surprised. I ain't gonna lie. I was surprised to see Jamal hoop with some type of coordination when I came back.
When I started playing, Will, I didn't start playing.
I ain't gonna lie. Because he was trash.
And I'll tell you when I started playing. Who got me started playing basketball was Uncle Clyde Gaines. Clyde had a Mount Zion basketball team with Lee, Reese. He really did it for Reese, but he had it for Lee, Reese, Derek,
Gregory.
Derek Gregory.
What's my cut hair? His haircut was crazy.
What's my daughter ended up going out to Cal for college back in the day? He went to West. Big dude. Jamar, I think his name was
Jamar Boyd.
Jamar Boyd was on that team.
Yeah.
East though, didn't he?
Percy Brown.
Yeah, Percy Brown. But Binky. Remember Binky? Binky was on his team.
Had a nice little squad. We was playing on that church car.
That church
in some Prairie.
Let's not forget who the Spartans point guard was. Shaka Smart.
Yeah, facts. But this wasn't Spartans. This was a Mount Zion team.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Mount Zion church team.
And I was in like sixth grade going to seventh grade, and Uncle Clyde used to let me, as a favor to my let my dad let me tag along and go to the games with them. So like I was still small, and I used to sit in the front. Everybody used to be in the back of the van. I was sitting in between Uncle Clyde and Auntie Carla. Like that's how small I was. And so if we were up by a lot, they let me get in the game. And I remember being so lost. Right, like getting a pass and not knowing what to do and just throwing it up.
Trash.
It's like seventh grade. Big trash. Like, and this ain't third or fourth. It's like 6th, 7th grade.
No, he's a little older.
Yeah, like so. This wasn't like beginning basketball. Like, because back I used to run track and play baseball.
Right.
So that's how trash I was. And then I was like, you know what? I started falling in love with it. I started watching Michael Finley and Tracy, and then like really getting into basketball. So by the time I got to like 10th, 11th grade, now I'm coming to my own.
Came back to Verona. I was like, you playing basketball? Like, what's going on? And you was actually doing your thing. I was like, okay.
So, well, you saw that later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because you ain't play high school basketball till your senior year, right?
Sophomore year.
Okay.
I played sophomore and senior year.
The only Jamal
Burhouse still there?
Yeah, actually I played I played half a sophomore season, then I played junior year at West, and I played senior year at Verona.
Hey, I just ran into your homie Strimlow, literally probably about an hour before I came home on here.
Listen, dog, you talking about a beast?
You talking about the girl?
No, it's the dad.
No, the dad.
The girl's cold.
Oh no, Taylor
because her daddy was cold.
Yeah, the girl cold as hell. Yeah.
Listen, dog, because her dad won 3 national championships at Platteville.
That's crazy.
Oh, he was with Bo.
Was he with Ernie Peavy and them?
Whatever. If Ernie Peavy was on 3 championships, because when I got to Verona, Strimlow and I think his last name was Hoffman. I think his name was
Ben Hoffman.
Ben Hoffman,
Strimlow, Ernie Peavy, and them. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so Ben Hoffman and Strimlow were our JV coaches at Verona.
Who's on that squad? Were you
I definitely asked
were
him.
you with Kemp?
He said,
me, Jason Kemp, DeAndre Buchanan, Ryan Fiskey, Sean
Ryan Fiskey. I had him as a freshman.
Sean Whitman had just transferred to East that year. He was because me and him just missed each other. So like he was leaving out. I came senior year. He had left senior year.
Sean was solid.
Yeah, Sean was tough. Sean just moved to Nashville, doing real well. Married a little baby girl and everything. That's my dog.
I remember there was a time where we played Verona High School at basketball.
Oh shit! I know where you going with this.
And I looked on the bench and I saw
a bunch of hoopers that couldn't get off the bench.
6 Negroes on the bench. I was like, I saw Lee.
I don't like Coach Verhelst to this day.
Lee, Akil, Tony Braxton, Steve Bushman. I was like, how are they?
Stanley.
He's just gonna mix all the grades together.
They not on the court.
They hate it.
And I went out there, and I was out there with. I looked over and I saw Dave Brzezinski. I saw Tom Mark.
What you forgetting is that was very similar to what Memorial was beforehand, though.
That part.
Memorial was the exact same way.
Well, they had Jesse Owens. They had Jesse Owens, not Jesse Owens. What's Jesse's last name?
That nigga said
Jesse.
That nigga said Jesse Owens.
What's Jesse's last name for real though? Pretty boy Jesse Sanders.
Yes.
Sanders. Is he gone? Rest in peace?
No,
he
had Jesse Sanders.
No, not Jesse Sanders. I'm thinking about the other Panther. I'm sorry, but go ahead. Jesse Sanders.
Sanders, and there's another brother that I'm forgetting who was on Memorial Squad. He used to jerk around too.
My bad, Jesse.
Jerry was the first brother to really get playing time for Memorial. So all these other dudes that came back to him,
he wasn't.
Who was Rick Redmond?
No, Jamal, you're saying in your era, like there was niggas before then that played a lot, actually.
Oh, got you. Well, from 95 on,
Deacon Bond.
that was it. Adam Bond didn't even
Adam Bond.
Adam
Bond didn't get playing time.
Don was cold.
Adam was cold. I don't think Adam didn't get the time that he was
Adam didn't get good playing time. Remember Adam, as I'm trying to tell you,
and will smile and preach to you. God bless you.
Either 8th grade or freshman, Adam was on the varsity team.
Let's not forget about Deacon Bond having game too with that
Deacon Bond had game.
Listen, hold on. But Lee knows this because we go to church with him. The older Bond brother was cold-blooded.
Oh, yeah. Him too.
He was unbelievable. So as nice as Adam was,
had an attitude.
His older brother was nicer. But Adam, so that's what I'm saying. From 95 until about when did Jerry start playing? Like 96, maybe 97. Brothers weren't getting playing time, and then Jerry was the only brother on that team getting playing time.
Because think about it, Jerry and Tay were on the same team, but Tay couldn't get on the court. So you all of a sudden telling me that Tay was one of the best players in the conference, but he couldn't play the year before?
Man, Tay was cold.
Octavius was
and Tay only got playing time because Jerry made him get playing time.
Hold on. Come on, let's talk about Octavius for a second.
He went to his senior year. He ended up being damn near all everything.
That joker was so cold, man. Fire. Him and the Sylvester brothers, to me.
Who?
I think they were some of the Sylvester brothers, or maybe not. Sylvester. I think his name was Sylvester. Yeah. What's Pookie and them? What's their last name?
Wheaton.
Sylvester and Porky. I
was pissed.
Sylvester was so cold. Porky was so cold.
And Lil Pete Moran. I couldn't keep up. I was pissed off.
Oh, Peter Weed.
Man.
He was so cold.
Hey, Peter is one of those true Southside legends.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can do athletes all day, man.
We need a whole nother segment on the center.
Yeah. We'll go. You know what, Jamal? We've been off a tangent for a minute. Listen, let's go to the next topic, and then let's go.
I can name off some running backs right now.
Listen, a Southside Sports Show next. We got to get Mike on here. We got to get a couple more people on here. Southside Sports Show.
Absolutely.
We got to get Lou Dirty on here.
See,
Lou Dirty for sure.
Gotta get
Lou was cold, dog. Like,
Lou was super cold.
Yeah, Reese and Roy definitely.
Nah,
but Roy wasn't Southside, but he's a Madison legend. He got to be on the call.
Yeah, Roy was an adult.
Yeah, facts.
Sorry,
facts. Roy was the first reclass.
I am not going to let y'all talk about Roy Boone the way y'all talking about Roy right now.
Roy Boone, talking about he was cold-blooded, but he was definitely a grown man playing with boys.
Roy Boone right now till today is 47 years old. He graduated. I just turned 47. I graduated in 95. Roy graduated in 97. That doesn't add up.
Roy's 2 years ahead of me in high school.
That doesn't add up.
I'm 43.
Everybody knew that Joker was older than he was supposed to be, man. Come on, man.
It was so It was so
windmilling out the gym like crazy.
I love seeing him dunk on them white dudes. So, like, listen, Roy, he was killing them dudes
with a smile on his face.
And we was like so. We forget Reese Gaines was 13 and a half years old playing against him. And this nigga.
Nope, we're going to stop right there. We going on. We was in rare form now. Nope.
Listen, hold on. We're going to
I'll tell you when Reese got cold.
Reese
hold on a second.
Roy was 19.
Hold on a second, Will.
Nessie had one too many beers.
Let's do a segment on the Nessie just said let's do a segment on the center. So this is what we're gonna do. Hey, Yubi, get David Smith, find out when he's available.
You can't get him. We can't swear. We can't cuss.
That's on you. We're fine not cussing. That's your problem.
But that's your uncle. You
can probably get a pad. That's your uncle. But get him on here with all the other Southside kids, and we're doing a Southside Center / sports segment. But anyway, go on to community. My bad. We went off on a big tangent about
yeah. So what were some of the visuals that y'all remember in the community that just represented the Southside and the community as a whole?
Y'all, Nestick and them grandma. They used to be in the kitchen and center. I'm drawing a blank on her name.
That's her mama.
Her mama, excuse me.
Ursi.
Say it again. Yes. Staple. Belinda.
I was gonna say Miss Blue. Is that Miss Blue?
Yep.
No, that's Miss Sanders. Is it Blue?
Well, Blue.
Antoine's grandma.
Yeah, Antoine.
Well, Miss
Antoine's
Blue,
mom.
yeah, that's Antoine's grandmother, yeah.
Right.
But Belinda is Antoine's mom.
Belinda's Antoine's mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Regina. What's Regina's last name?
Ryan.
Regina Ryan. Yeah.
Regina Ryan. Those are staples that don't get talked about enough.
Buckus.
Who?
Buckus, the dog that chased everybody. That
I didn't remember that. I remember the kid was in a dog named Lady who used to chase everybody.
Lady used to chase
everybody. Lady controlled Bear Street, dog.
The Pierce.
Lady can that little terrier, dog.
Memories. This is
that
crazy.
Little terrier was crazy.
Hey,
dog.
shout out to Nestic. Jeff. Hey, Jeff was the ping pong king.
Yes. Monroe.
The Hoys.
The Hoys for sure.
The Hoys definitely. Chop.
I just sat with Rand.
Bombs, Big Boy.
Who was the candy lady that lived next door to Chop?
That's Brendan's mama. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Open Pantry.
Hey, the drive-up gas station.
The drive.
Now later, the Lemonheads.
Big Boys on Park Street on South Park.
Big Boy, yeah.
The 25 cents.
Oh. Ben's Barber
Shop.
Yeah.
Smitty's for sure.
Smitty.
Hey,
Smitty.
listen. Hold on, before we go there.
JP was their apprentice.
Right, JP was that. I was one of JP's first.
JP was their apprentice, dog.
So JP used to put all the designs in my head. But before we go there, hey, I'm so mad Derek's not on this call. I remember taking Derek down to Style and Grace.
He wasn't ready.
Oh my God! Listen, I love Smitty. But Smitty wouldn't necessarily always remember.
That line was jacked up.
Smitty was known for jacking Cat's hair up.
Come on, man. That's my great uncle.
That's cool. That's cool, Will.
Saying,
you knew if a dude can't put a jacked line in.
Hey,
like
I took Derek down there after a football practice, and remember, Derek had stupid sideburns at like 11.
Derek
went down
hairy
there,
little son of a gun.
Just cut me or whatever, but just save my sideburns. The very first thing that went was the right entire sideburn. He was like, "Oh man, my bad. Do you want me to keep the other one?"
Do you want me to? That was the question.
Do you want me to keep the other one, bro? I was crying. Derek, listen, I'm crying in laughter. Derek's crying because he's hurt. His feelings are hurt.
That's crazy. Shout out to Sharon Braxton too. Moms, wasn't she on the other side?
Who?
Sharon Braxton.
Oh, when they had the side where
Squeaky was there. Yeah, Squeaky was there too.
Yeah, Squeaky was there before she just opened up her own stop.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next topic? I'm ready to let loose on everything.
Those are the visuals, though, Jamal.
And Taco Bell, the Cholitos.
Oh, the Taco Bell.
You can't forget about Taco Bell.
Hold on. The Southside Transfer Center before everything else got over there.
Nobody even said Penn Park.
Penn Park.
I thought that was a given.
That's a given.
That's a given.
The whole.
The life, Alice G.
The mag. The set. All that shit.
Somerset.
Alice G.
The lock-ins at the center.
Ed Holmes, Lincoln, across from Lincoln Elementary School.
Bone Crusher sleepovers at the center. If you fell asleep before anybody else, it was over with.
Got him.
Terry Roach got kicked out of the sleepover because he was throwing. This nigga put 8 balls in socks and throwing them at people at the sleepover.
Yeah. It got man. We was running all over that place.
I was not there for that one.
Hey, listen, this is exactly why my dad never let me go. Exactly why.
And my dad, this wasn't fair for me because he put me on straight snitch street. He snatched me up. Will, who did it? You know what I'm talking about? Like, nigga, I'm like, shit. You know what I'm saying? What am I ain't fold. I didn't fold.
All right. So
did we? Can I ask y'all a question real quick? I'm sorry. Sure. Did we used to call? I thought we used to call Penn Park the Pit.
No.
Nah.
Never.
No, never. I don't know where you.
Listen, that's because you was out on that west side, just coming over there.
That was that skate park in Verona. He was going to. The pit. That was you. That was you out there skateboarding, bro.
Hey, we all said nah in unison, like nah.
I don't know what that is.
Y'all told me the same thing. I'm like, no, man, I was having a conversation with somebody. He was like, yeah, we just go to the pit.
Penn Park.
Somebody agree with you?
Hey, Lee.
Yeah,
Lee. Penn Park.
There were another transplant.
The hole.
Maybe I was thinking the hole.
Yeah.
The mag.
Yeah.
What's
what we call the shelter?
Bayview.
Bayview was like damn near downtown.
But still, but I mean, you know,
we used to call that big thing the shelter. We say that.
Yeah.
The shelter.
Okay. I'm sorry.
The pit.
Anyway.
You almost got kicked off the show for that shit.
Yeah.
Hey, all right. So give me some of those influential people on the South Side, just that community that held you accountable. I will say Mr. Billings did. He was one of those for me that always was like, yo, you tripping. Come here.
All right. Well, we have a lot of
his wife, Dr. Gloria, Dr. Billings. So
I didn't even know they were married. I didn't know that they were the couple. I didn't know who Dr. Billings was until I got older and was in education.
See, listen, I knew her because they used to, he was my Sunday school teacher for a while, and she used to come help him. She was much more quiet than he was, right? I didn't know she was who she was until 2018. A friend of mine I worked with down here went, the Moncriefs. You right, Nasty. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, the Moncriefs.
We tripping, Nasty.
Big tripping.
That's my
the Moncriefs all day.
Aaron, Ashley,
you can blame Will for that. That's Will's fault.
So that's right. That's your kin. So one of my coworkers went to UW for a PhD program. She puts in our group chat, yo, I got this advice. One of my professors, the most dynamic black woman I've ever met before in my life. She puts in all these links to like her accomplishments. And I look and I'm like, Mrs. Billings? I said, Mrs. Billings.
Yeah.
I didn't know Dr. Billings.
Yeah.
And she
I don't think any of us knew.
Like I said, she went to church, but Mr. Billings was so much more extroverted that like she seemed quiet. Now being married, we understand I'm the loudmouth husband, and so some people think my wife is quiet. Right? So like, I remember thinking like, she was like, you know her? I was like, that was my Sunday school. She used to be her husband, my Sunday school teacher. Wow. Then I went to I Googled and went down a rabbit hole. Like I had no idea.
No, she's
Will, I don't know if you noticed, but Mrs. Billings is like world renowned in higher education. But she was Mrs. Billings to me. I didn't know.
Yeah, definitely a go. Definitely a go.
Facts. Like when I mentioned her name to somebody in something, and I work for a college scholarship program on it. I've seen herself cited in some of the stuff we do, and I'm like, this is crazy.
Hell, I've cited her in some of my research now.
No, shout out to the Billings.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I chimed in.
Give me some others. I said Mr. Billings. Mr. Kilgore.
Let's talk about
the first bodybuilder I ever met, Mr. Kilgore.
Yeah, Mr. Kilgore. Who was it? Amber. What was her brother name?
Dante, Aaron, Prentice, Marcus,
and Mark.
The Kilgores, right there on the corner.
They
got something stupid to say.
They was weird looking motherfuckers too, but that's me here.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming. I forgot to say the disclaimer. Will speaks for himself and only himself. We are professional individuals on this podcast that have lives outside of here.
Man, one of them niggas had Frank. Okay, let me stop. Anyways, let's talk about the influencers.
No, the influencers. Yeah. I always have a vivid memory of Shannon standing right there on the corner.
Shannon Bolton?
Yeah, light-skinned Shannon, big dude.
Shannon Bolton.
Yeah. I just always remember him right there, right across the street from the center, just standing out on the porch. I thought he was the hardest dude on the planet.
Now, he had a transgender brother that could beat up everybody.
Who was his transgender brother?
Randy Bolton, till this day, will beat up anybody you see.
I just remember
the Boltons. I don't remember them.
I remember I'm not messing with the shit. The Hendersons. I remember the Hendersons on there.
Millions of
on the South Side. Greg, rest in peace.
Russell.
Russell
Damon. Russell was a police officer working in West.
Yeah. I don't know.
Damon told on a whole drug ring. He's still in the witness protection program today.
God damn it, Will.
Will, stop, man.
He is. What do you mean? I thought this was a podcast.
It is. Go for what you know. I don't know.
Shout out, man. Hopefully he can,
Hopefully Will don't say where he's located, so nobody goes for him.
Hope he's doing well. Jeez. No,
Lee,
you right.
Give me some others, Lee. Who you got?
So
Yokes,
icons on the South Side. Is that what you said?
Yokes and Twan.
Yeah, well, the Yokes and Twan were definitely icons.
And I mean, I get what people have done, and we're not gonna. But Sheldon Kincaid was awesome.
I was gonna say Sheldon. I remember Sheldon very, very vividly.
You don't care what he did. Awesome for the community.
There are two sides of Sheldon that I think that we ended up. I was a player, so like that was what I knew as him as a coach.
Yes. Yeah.
No. We're not gonna say it. Jamal, give me an icon or somebody that was influential.
You're talking about the Predator?
Listen,
huh?
no. Will is not allowed to. Will's laughing too hard. Jamal,
shout out to my aunt, Cheryl Knox. Started the Panthers. She's a ninja, by the way. Black belt.
Listen, she was my track coach and my karate instructor.
Hey, yeah. Also give flowers to Jamal's mom, Rosalind. Hey, wasn't she like a part of creating the Ahana prom?
Nice.
So my mom, Mr. Scott at East, I'm trying to think, Miss Sword at West.
Mr. Scott, nice. Miss Sword, yes.
Miss Sword at West, they all started Ahana. They all helped start Ahana.
So
what is this?
Me and Ashley.
Remember we had Black Prom?
Oh, okay.
That was actually the combination of a Ahana conference. I think it was like African American, Hispanic, Asian, and Native American Association.
So
that's what Ahana stood for.
So me and Ashley were
it was the Black Prom.
It was Black Prom, everybody else. Yeah,
me and Ashley.
It was a conference before that.
Last king and queen of Black Prom.
I went to White Prom.
They never
you
had
and who?
No, we were the last ones. Me and Ashley.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know they stopped doing that. But yeah, so
it was
that
so good seeing everybody together. Ashley, Nestic.
Yeah,
everybody.
My mom and them was up to start that back in the day.
I went to White Prom.
And Ed Holmes. Ed Holmes was part of that too.
Ed Holmes.
Will Smith, we know you went to White Prom.
White Prom. It was magnificent.
The fact that you use that word lets me know where you went.
Let me further know.
Hey, me and Shaka Smart were at White Prom.
Hey man, Shaka gonna get you for this.
And we are living our best life. We were.
Hey, chill out before this ends up on like ESPN or something.
Right.
Shaka don't need to be connected.
Shaka does not want to catch these strays from his former backcourt mate. Like,
right. What's he at Marquette now?
Yeah.
Nice. Shout out, Shaka.
If he was in Texas, maybe it wouldn't get there, but he's an hour away from y'all. Like, chill out.
I actually ran into him at Starbucks a couple months ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
Never mind. No.
All right. So just
I know you got to bring the Predator. If y'all brought him up, I'm still calling the Predator. Don't bring up Sheldon.
God damn.
I've never liked Sheldon from the first time I met him when I was a kid.
Okay. I guess
I was so glad my dad didn't let me play for that dude.
Lee has left the video.
I'm right here. I'm sorry, my bad.
Hey, so I want to know.
Hold on. Now a lot of people might not associate him with the South Side like we did growing up because now he's big time in the fire department and all that. But Johnny Winston,
J-Dub for sure.
Johnny was definitely a staple because Johnny Winston came up with Block Party.
What's my boy? He helped start the Block Party.
He restarted it. Yep.
Restarted Juneteenth.
Yeah.
And before that, him and my man Rich used to come in there. What was it called? What was their group
name? Fresh Force.
Fresh Force used to come rap at the school.
And level 2.
I think last summer they got back together and performed because Yokes was a part of it.
I saw it. So I remember, when you go to Franklin or Randall, you're like the only black kid in your class. It's like, the only it's like maybe 1/5 of us are there because a lot of people don't understand. Damn near half the South Side is all white. Once you go past the barbershop,
except for our little 6-block radius.
Yeah, our pocket is the only black part of the South Side, from like Badger Road up to like Somerset and over to probably the post office.
Right.
That's it. That's it for the South Side as far as black folks. The rest of the South Side, by region, like over by Franklin Elementary and on the lake side and all that, that's all white. So when you go to schools, you're the only black kid there. And then Johnny Winston and them come in and rap, and all these white kids are loving it. And he shouts you out because he knows you. And like, I'm the only kid in there that knows these rappers at the school. That was powerful. I don't think I ever told him that, but like that definitely helped alleviate some of the racial tension.
You saying that is hilarious because do you know how many people, when I've gone off and been in school in Alabama or gone to visit different folks in Detroit, LA, whatever, and they think of Wisconsin, they're like, yo, like, because of who we are, they're like, dude, how have you never been assimilated to certain things? And I'm just like, outside of me being in my schools, when I was in my neighborhood, the only white folks that were around was Mike the mailman.
That's it.
I don't know what Mike's last name is because we've always called him Mike the mailman.
It was what was Mike?
He was right on Bear Street.
Yeah, he was a couple doors up from me because it was him and you forgetting Daniel Deanna.
Billy Joe.
It wasn't no Daniel.
Oh, Billy Joe. Yeah, Billy Joe lived next to Gabler.
Yeah, Billy Joe.
Hey, rest in peace. Billy Joe died.
Yep, rest in peace. Yep.
Yeah, she had leukemia.
Yeah.
That was like my best friend growing up.
But that was it. When we came home, that was all you saw.
Remember, Mike moved over there later. Mike moved over there right before we moved. He lived next door to Kilgore's, but next to him, it was Mike as a Kilgore's. Mike,
the Parkers,
the Parkers, and then Daniel Deanna. I forget their last name, but Daniel Deanna. Their dad was their mom was Deborah. Their dad was Dean. Those are the only white folks.
So many memories.
Yeah. They're both doing well too. I think Deanna's in Texas. I want to say she's married with kids. Daniel's married with kids anyway. But yeah, like you said, Jamal, like the only white kids I knew were at school, other than those.
Shout out on that whole Fresh Force thing. Shout out Big Bro, Jeeks Gene Banger, Greg Dobie, Regime Records on the South Side. You know what I mean? They was in that number 2 era.
The first platinum producer.
Yeah.
I see Greg all the time. I see Greg when he went to Madison College.
Shout out. You my hero.
Hey, but listen, tell him he's a clown because when he moved to Atlanta, he never hollered at your boy. But we'll get that
later. Hey,
shout out to Greg in his engagement. You know, he about to get married again.
Hey, Lee. Hey, Lee, that man, your brother, he argued he has the best song Lloyd Banks has ever
done.
Your brother produced it. The best. I don't give a fuck. Lloyd Banks song, the best.
Hell yeah.
Lloyd Banks ever had. That nigga produced.
Man, we went to the Cardinal. I was just home, last week. So we went to the Cardinal, and they played the song in the Cardinal, and I had it on video. I got the whole. He rapped it. That was just it was a great moment, good brother moment. But shout out to Regime Records with the Hendersons, huh? Yeah. No, that's fire. That's fire.
Fuck you niggas, you niggas, the Stanleys, you guys are the luckiest family in the earth, nigga. I can tell you this. You got platinum.
He produced a platinum hit out of Madison, and the other one goes
going to the NFL.
It's going drafted to the NFL.
Right. Like, god damn.
Hey, before
shout out to the Stanleys, boy.
Hey,
I love Teacher of the Year, my sister in Nashville.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all trees. And before we go any further, let's make sure that we talk about Derek. Derek, shout out to him for making it to the pros because, like, he grew. Our team was so talented with the Hands Bros,
the
Kilgores.
Wes Matthews.
Wes didn't play football.
I was playing basketball. My bad.
No, I'm talking about just that Southside Raiders team. That Southside Raiders team that we had. We left and we went to down to Barry Sanders Field to win, and we won a Midwest Super Bowl. And
wow, I didn't know this.
Yeah, we went down there and won a Midwest Super Bowl, and it was crazy because as talented as we know that Derek is, I will promise you, Derek was the last one anybody would have thought would have made it professional because Derek was the scariest one. Derek would close his eyes before he got hit, but Derek always had the craziest speed. And I remember when I left to go to college and came back home and realized how much of a freak athlete Derek was because Derek didn't get any playing time on the basketball team in Verona. But the game
crazy.
Shit, Derek did not.
I saw a summer league game. That's all I saw.
No,
he did a senior year, I believe. But
it was up and down. I
came to see. Similar to you, Jamal. I came home. I was in Atlanta already, and this is my first time coming home at Verona. And me and Jason Kent went to a game, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta go see Derek. Like he's like, yeah, Derek's been doing this thing, blah blah blah. Dude, I never forget. They were running on like 3rd and 10. Derek Stanley first down. 3rd and 8. Derek Stanley handed off. Like, who does not throw on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9? They handing the ball to Derek and he getting first down. Like, I was like, oh, this dude is unbelievable.
Can I say something? Can I say something about Stanley's?
Go ahead. It's going to be disrespectful.
It's not going to be. But Derek Stanley is not the best Stanley, though. Lee Stanley is the best. He is, though. Real talk. I'm not so. Forget the credentials. Forget how far you went. I'm talking about hands down athlete. Lee Stanley is the one in the family. I don't care what y'all talking about.
I appreciate it. You gotta stop it. You gonna make Derek mad. You gotta stop
Derek.
it.
Derek mad. Man, no.
No, Derek.
Well, I understand, but that's the earlier days, yes. And then he took what Lee did and built on that.
Of course.
I tell you what, I came back home because I had left. I was already in Cali when he got to high school. So I came back home for a football game, and he was playing running back. I was like, damn, this dude is so cold. And then I came back when he was in college for a football game. This joker's catching balls up one hand. And then I went to go play ball with him. And this joker, I was like, this joker cold. This joker is cold. He's 5'10", 5'11".
I literally I had to run. I literally come home and I go to 2 games at Verona. The first game over winter break, Derek doesn't play at all. And everybody's like, yeah, it's kind of like this when it's a good game. They don't play him. But then I go to the next game. They get down to like 15, and Derek goes nuts for like 2.5 quarters, scores 21 or whatever. They win, and then the next game he don't play again. I'm like, this is
I don't like Verhelst to this day.
That's my fault.
And listen, the last time I saw him, it was at Jason Kim's wedding. And that was my first time seeing him since high school. Had it not been at Jason Kim's wedding, I had a full monologue for that dude. Like, listen, I don't like him to this day. Him, the Berginski family, Mark Barlow's dad.
I told you how I feel about Bus.
Here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part, Yubi, is that changed because Coach Bus is the only reason I got any playing time.
Yeah, when Coach Bus got there.
Coach Bus played me. He played DeAndre.
He flip-flop.
Bro,
that's
hold on.
Different.
I got the history on Verona. I'll tell you right now. Because it started out with Tony Braxton. He was cold. Tony was cold. Tony was cold. Tony could jump out the gym. He can shoot the ball.
He didn't play him
at all. And he played Ray. Ray won all the way. I don't know what Ray is, but Ray black. But Ray had a stroke.
Not black. Ray's not black. Ray is mixed with something else. He's not black.
But then he didn't play Ray. When I got there, he took me in the office when I was a freshman. He was like, "We're gonna play you at varsity next year." I'm a sophomore. When I start sophomore,
right?
So I got into some trouble. Didn't play until senior year, right? Yeah. So when he put me in, I'm so nervous. I've been working to get back. He put me in. I must have traveled. One time he took me out. Never put me in the game. Never put me back in the rest of the season. And then he would put me in. He would put me in the last minute, and then I would do the same thing like your boy Derek did. I would just be running all over the court, scoring buckets. There, everybody's like, "Oh, we was down like." I remember Ryan Fiske. We was down like maybe like 10 points. It's like 2 minutes left. He put the scrubs in. I got in, and all of a sudden it's a 2-point game because I'm just running. I'm running down the court, man. Took me out. It's like, come on, bro. Like, what you doing? So he's had an issue. Verona had the issue, man. Even with Brooks in the football. Yeah, they're racist, man.
Because
I couldn't walk down the street without being called, on my name.
I got arrested the first day I went to school in Verona.
You can imagine. Identity. You can imagine in Oregon
for a light-skinned dude that's about 4 or 5 inches shorter than me that wasn't dressed the same. I got mistaken identity. So like he did the same thing to me, dude.
Yeah,
I transited my senior year, and that reason, the only reason I'm not super upset because it's my fault. If I had stayed out of trouble at Memorial, I'd have stood at Memorial. If I stayed out of trouble at West, I'd have still been at West and been playing. Boyce would have played me. The coaches at Memorial were going to play me.
Absolutely.
I messed up and got myself to Verona and put myself in the situation to begin with. But anyway, I get there. I played good minutes the first game. Then white folks start complaining. Because Jason was the only one
that they was going to let be on the court.
Jason Kemp, because he had been there forever. And then DeAndre, because DeAndre came in 9th grade too.
I think DeAndre kind of changed the way they do basketball.
No, he didn't.
No?
They didn't.
No, he was just that dude. Yeah, he was just that dude at the time.
If DeAndre hadn't been 6'5", he wouldn't have played.
Got it.
If he wasn't just astronomically better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Like with me, it was like you could kind of just, he can't really shoot, and these guys can shoot. You know what I mean? That kind of it was questionable. But DeAndre wasn't questionable. Jason had been there since like 6th grade.
Yeah.
So like he was a golden child everywhere.
Yeah, they groomed Jason.
Yeah, they groomed it and so
Bus
can't be using that grooming word. No,
not like that.
But with the hustle program, because I was with it was called the hustle program. They started like in 6th, 7th grade. So I started there too with Mr. Varner.
And Jason was nice.
Yeah. Jason was nice. Jason had a nice post game was super tough. But Bus was in that.
Jason became 6'3", 6'4" in 8th grade, and like they already played him in the post.
You talking about Jason Kemp?
Yeah,
Jason Kemp. But Bus was just like starting when I was there, and he was kind of changing it. And Verhouse was on his way out because his brother was over in Wanakee. He was getting trouble. I think he was getting in trouble or something like that. And Verhouse ended up getting in trouble. But Bus. I thought Bus was trying to change the tide. No,
man. Listen, they started doing bullshit like having tryouts at 6 o'clock in the morning, knowing no kid from the Ally could get to Verona for tryouts.
Right.
Oh,
I
didn't know that.
When I was there, Bus was my dog. Like,
he was cool as hell. Bus was cool.
Reserve back then. It was like if you did, it wasn't JV, but it wasn't varsity, and like you could like.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So like if you played one quarter the Friday night, you could play 3 quarters on Saturday in varsity reserve.
Nice.
And Coach Bus let me do my thing.
Like, Coach Bus.
He used to be telling Verhouse like, "Yo, get Jamal in the game. Get Jamal in the game." Did they move Mark Barlow up? And shout out to Mark. Like, there's no shot knocking Mark Barlow. Mark Barlow's always cool with me.
Barlow was always cool.
Barlow was cool, dog. Like
soccer player, but run you off the court with his jumper.
Yeah, so like they moved.
That's
Mark
a little
Barlow,
dude, right?
Freshman, the younger one. Yeah, not the older one, the younger one.
Yeah.
I never knew the older one, so I can't speak to him. I know his dad.
He was cool too. He was cold too.
Got you, but I know the Barlow dad and the Brzezinski dad was running that politics stuff that really shafted a lot.
Oh, they was running it tough. They didn't want me to play. They didn't want me to play so bad, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to the South Side Madison Barlows too, because they played.
Oh yeah, right there on the right bottom of Mount Zion.
Yeah,
they were
the
house at the corner.
That's another South Side icon.
Yeah. Let's get off sports. You're right. Let's get back to the
topic.
Yeah. South Side. Shout out to the Bell family. There was some staples we didn't mention.
Yes,
Pastor Bell and his family before Pastor Wright came on. So a lot of young Southside folks. JC Wright don't know like Pastor Wright was the pastor of Mount Zion.
And I thought we did mention the Jacksons earlier, but
we mentioned the Jacksons.
The Jacksons and the Smiths are the 2 biggest families in
the world.
In Madison, yeah.
And listen, and Larry Jackson has turned himself into the Southside millionaire.
we gotta talk about Larry.
All over.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I'm a. Hopefully y'all can help too. I'm making a movie. It's called Southside. Like real talk. I'm telling you right now. I'm making a movie. We got Larry Jackson as a pillar. He don't get enough credit for what he did and the blocks that he bought.
And
or Cat Jackson being the first black female firefighter.
And his wife first female. Come on, man. We got some. Look what we was around just in the community. What we saw. Why couldn't we be great?
Hey, think about how much money that we did not have on the South Side yet when we were a part of those like at the center, and we did everything. We went bowling every week, swimming every week. We was at the fair. We would go to the Summer Fest, Afro Fest. We did everything.
We went to DC.
And our parents.
92.
I went to Cali with Percy and Gus.
Our parents just dropped us off and left.
And just left. Hey, Will.
They knew we was with good people.
Think about how many times that you came across a picture. It might be 15 of us in one room. Me, you, Dominique, Sean, Ashley, Yvette, everybody in one room while our parents outside out playing cards, drinking.
Right, out there playing tonk. You know.
I done seen a couple of them pictures, and I'm like, Mom, you want to explain this? No, leave it alone.
Man, it's so much rich history, man. So much rich history.
And I mean, and you know what? I mentioned it. I mentioned them, but I didn't mention their parents, the Hansbros, Alvin, Adria, and Tony. And them's Hansbro. Their mom and dad were very.
The mom mentioned it.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier.
I think Robert,
my dad, Uncle Lee, and Bob Hansbro helped start the Sable Flames.
Yeah,
the Black Firefighter Group, the Sable Flames. You remember that? It's like the Black Men's Firefighter Group, the Black Firefighter Group for Madison Fire Department. It's still going on to this day.
Wow,
now all the firefighters are selling cocaine.
God,
oh man, there you go.
We're not getting on that. We're not getting on that. We don't like community. We're not talking about Trevor Wiggins.
No.
God.
Oh, then you name dropping.
Next question is a clown.
I thought this was gonna be a nice, polite podcast.
We're gonna move
Fuel of crunch.
That's why I love my nigga Jamal. We on the same page, Jamal.
All right,
so the
next question is, what happened to community? What happened to our community? Like,
so I think what happened is people moved, right? I think that, and I'll take part of the blame, right? Like I moved and didn't come back, right? So a lot of people moved, and then so like, whereas let's take the Smiths and the Jacksons, for instance, right? Like they're the only ones originally, and Percy Brown, right? But then it's just them. It's not a lot of them that are still on the South Side, you know, putting in work. You know, with the center, Nestick is still there, Cedric and them. So like they still come to work, and a lot of us moved. Our parents moved and then didn't come back. Yeah, right. Ashley Moncrief and all, like they all stayed, and a lot of us didn't come back. So like even now, the work I do in Atlanta, a big piece of what I really try to empower our students to do is to leave Atlanta, go, you know, live life, get some experience, but then come back and pour into the same communities that you came from. I think that's a big piece, right? I also think, let me rewind. That's a secondary piece. The major piece is the level of systematic oppression that takes place in Wisconsin, from not just white folks, but it's more of a, not just racist things, but classist things as well, right? And it's like, I think that there are some folks, and like I said, we won't be Club Shay Shay and start throwing names out, but there are some folks who
now you say that
take a dollar from folks and shut up, right? There are folks that used to be very vocal and then got money and stopped being vocal, right? There are, for every Kaleem Khair who's really pouring into kids in community on the South Side, there's 10 other dudes who aren't doing anywhere near the work he's doing, right? Or will pretend they're doing that work and not really do it.
Who you talking about?
I'm not doing all that, right? I'm not doing it on here today because we'll get another podcast later. Also, the reason I can't really call it out like I want to, Will, is because I'm seeing it from afar, right? Like, so I don't know.
Oh, really, I get what Will talking about. I ain't gonna say that.
He wants me to call it out, but I don't know. Like, we can get on another show and like somebody who's in the trenches like Nestick.
I know.
I'll say the name.
Go ahead.
You talking about Michael Johnson?
I didn't say the name, but you said
I don't. And listen, I've never even met this brother, so I can't say. And I don't think he was even there when I don't think he moved to Madison until after I got. So I can't talk about him, but I just know there were a lot more people that could have had an impact that have not made impact, right?
The people that genuinely care.
That genuinely care. Like, that's why, agree with him or not, Kaleem has been steadfast and wanting to open up a school, really pouring into kids on the South Side. Like, do I believe in all his? Do we agree on everything politically? No. But what
is that one city?
I like you don't do it to anybody. Yeah, one city. Because a lot of people, if you're not paying attention, don't know one city. He started that out of that daycare right there by the center.
Yeah,
right.
And grew it from there. Because they've been trying to put a school for black kids for decades, right? Yeah. So like when I saw him get that funding and finally get to open it, I was over the moon about that, right? But I also know there weren't just white folks fighting against him. There were other black folks fighting against him or putting obstacles up or hating on him behind the scenes that prevented him from doing this years ago, right? So I think that's a huge piece, right? I think there are systematic and strategic things put in place to keep things from happening on the South Side. Because here's the thing, when I come back home, and I haven't been home in a while though, right? But every time I was coming back home, I was seeing so much growth in Verona and Sun Prairie and in West Madison, and Middleton and all these other places that grew, and the South Side still is the same.
Shit, come back now.
I'm just saying, like, even now, right? Has it grown as much as everybody else?
It just don't look the same. It ain't grown.
It don't look the same at all.
This is my point.
Grown, but
I just went there.
I know it don't look the same, but it hasn't grown. It hasn't progressed like everywhere else. I remember there's a project that was supposed to start with like some soccer fields and basketball courts over there off of where the Burger King used to be. I ain't seen that thing happen yet.
No, it hasn't.
This is my point.
I think they're actually breaking ground.
They just broke ground for the Black Excellence Center.
GB Greg Banks, and he can chime in on this. He was on a committee to try to help that happen. I think, was my daughter even born yet? And she's 12. You see what I'm saying? So not to say, and I don't, like I said, I haven't been there, so I don't know what obstacles were put in place, but clearly some were. Right. And so like I think that's a big piece of what started to deteriorate community and why a lot of us left and didn't want to come back. I never wanted to raise my kids in an area where they got to be had the experience I had being one or two black kids in the classroom. Right. Like that was huge for me. Like everybody and I don't judge anybody for not, because everybody didn't have the experience I had. I had a traumatic experience growing up in Madison and then going to Verona and being told like, oh, y'all can't come into this party, even though all our friends in there because my parents don't like black people in our house. You know what I'm saying? Like not everybody had that experience, but I did. I did. So I'll be damned if I'm ever going to have my son or daughter feel that same way. And so I was very intentional about putting my kids in predominantly black areas and predominantly black schools growing up so that they would always be very certain and very, if I didn't have my dad and mom, I'd have had problems with my skin color prior. I'd have probably had problems, you know what I'm saying, trying to assimilate and things like that. I wasn't this super ultra confident kid growing up. My parents instilled that in me, right? I don't know, like, and so with my kids, I'm like, nah, I think my kids have only had a white administrator. Like, my son's going into high school, I think twice. Once.
Wow.
Right? I think they've only had, my son going to ninth grade, I think he's had 3 or 4 white teachers growing up. Like, he's never been a minority.
Yeah, right? And my kids are the total opposite.
For like a little bit, and that was that year and a half he had to come to school with me. That one school I worked at that was like that. That was his only experience, and it was terrible. And so I'm like, we'll never do that again. And so part of the things that obstacles being put up in the way for people to continue building the community we had in Madison are part of the reasons why a lot of us moved and didn't come back.
I think it also has to do with social media as well. That social media definitely, at that time, it was different when we were growing up. If the question is, what happened to the community? Because now they're focused more so on, you know, what's going on in social media, and it's not, they're not going outside as much. And so, or they're not doing activities, you know, certain things like that. So I think that had a lot to do with it as well, along with what Jamal is saying, not coming home, not being those pillars that we saw growing up, or adding to them, you know, in some respects. So that's difficult. It's difficult, especially as you kind of understand yourself a little bit more. Back then, we didn't really know what was going on. You know, we just kind of feeling our way. We just seeing everything. And now you really start to realize who you are, what you want, what you think, how you want things, how you want to raise your children, how you don't want to raise your children, and things of that nature. It's kind of like, it's more inner circle, family oriented, you know, instead of going out, because we don't have time to, we got so much stuff going on and battling with especially with our kids.
Did y'all really understand community then the way you understand it now, to see how impactful it is or it was? And I was thinking about that recently, like, yo, I didn't really understand how much community was or how much it meant, because like the way y'all talk about Uncle Clyde, Auntie Carla, like I didn't refer to them as that because I didn't understand that level of community. I still said Mr. Gaines, Miss Gaines, Mr. Greer, Mr. Stanley.
Mama Carla.
And I didn't understand it until I got older to really understand it, but I still gave them the utmost respect and appreciated them, but it just wasn't like I didn't really understand that level of community until I got older.
Yeah, I didn't understand how impactful it was until I started doing that work.
Yeah.
Right. Like when I moved to Atlanta, I realized like all my friends didn't, because even when I was at Whitewater, right? Like I was still my roommate was Ricky Davis, who was from the East Side, grew up hooping with us on the South Side. Like GB was there, Harry was there. Like so, I still had people. Latoya Braswell from the East Side was there. Like a lot of us were still there. So until I moved to Atlanta and started working in some like neighborhoods that looked like ours growing up, but didn't have the same feel, I was like, oh, dang, that's different.
And that's why what we had was so dope and deeper than people realize.
Yeah.
So
hey, hold. Before you say ask what you gonna ask, this dude Will and pulled up a damn White Claw.
Listen.
Now that is the violation. A seltzer?
Staying in Madison too long.
A seltzer?
No, he ain't even in Madison no more. He out on the outskirts.
And you know what?
Oh, we ain't gonna disclose your location, but a seltzer?
This right here. So first of all, this keeps you. The malt liquor days are over. I can't.
Who's still drinking malt liquor though?
Right.
I do. I'm a '90s nigga. A 40 ounce of OE is
Lee,
wonderful. That's
Lee,
wonderful.
Go back to your question, Lee. Will.
Right. I don't know why you decided to segue with that one. Go ahead, Lee.
I thought he was going somewhere else. I thought he had he was going to ask questions.
I saw a White Claw and I'm like, oh, here we go.
So what are some of the ways that we can is there two-part now. Is it possible to get that community back? And two, if so, how do you navigate through that?
I would say
what's the first
thing? I think that I don't think it's possible to get it all the way back to what we had, because like you said, the social media, the society in general just isn't communal as it was back then, right?
Right.
I do think there are ways to improve, like UB's youth conference that's coming up, right? Like some of the stuff he's doing, Fuel the Crutch. I think the Raiders, Southside Raiders, is still providing a ton of community for kids on the South Side.
Will still be after this one.
I think that I'm not sure. I've heard some things about the Boys and Girls Club, so I think if they get that together, you could do some things. I also think that Yubi and I were in talks to do some things pre-pandemic, and we had started to that we need to pick back up. But like me and Yubi and Latisse Brown did a talk about with the Madison guidance, all the guidance houses in Madison public school system about leaving the state, what kind of school options are out there for people, what kind of network the kids have they don't even know they have. Exposing them, but then also like organizing it so where you're bringing them back home too, right? So like even if we, started working with the counselors to get kids out of the state, but then also bringing them, like providing opportunities to come back home with this internships, with this, camps, with this the youth conference every year UB's going to be doing, like things like that to continue building it. Because I don't want to, I won't on UB's podcast, I won't do what I think, what he knows I'm more inclined to do, which is like be damn Harriet Tubman, get everybody out of Wisconsin. Right. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see a mass exodus of Black folks out of Wisconsin, especially out of Madison specifically. But since that can't happen, right, I think that empowering students to leave and like understand, because a lot of times they don't understand the network they have. Right, like a lot of them kids going up in Madison or even Mount Zion right now don't know if they came out to LA or Cali. They got Lee Stanley, they got Dot McDonald, they got Imani Greer, they have Derek Gregory. You know what I mean? They don't know if they went to Houston, to Texas. They have Cashel, Lewis, Thomas, Steele.
Gaines is out there.
I was like Auntie Carla, Uncle Clyde down there. Ron and Ross Greer, Dakari Greer. Like, what's my boy, the barber? Your homie. Dante's down there.
Robert Beerfield.
Huh?
Robert Beerfield is down there too now.
I didn't know that either. You come to Georgia, you have me, Crystal Peterson, Like there's a bunch of us down here too. Tennessee, you got Trees, Adriana, Taja, a bunch of folks, right? Like I don't think they understand that they go to North Carolina. You got Hasina Huntley Cooper. You got the Bank sisters.
Vanessa's headed out there.
Vanessa going.
Vanessa's
Yep.
headed to Charlotte. Like I think when they realize, like we have to somehow organize, whether it's through Mount Zion, whether it's through Fuel the Clutch, whether it's whoever, like maybe just even a database of like, here's where you can go, and there's people from your neighborhood there.
Here is your community that you don't even know exists yet.
You don't even know exists, and you can get the hell out of Madison and then come back when you're ready.
Yeah, I was just saying that same thing on the business end as well. When I was just there, just trying to all the creative spaces that we have that are still in Madison, DLK Printing, Apogee, the creative center that my brother's running over there, and so there's a lot of other communities also, in addition to the other places that you kind of branch out and go to, Nashville. So,
but I also
the question is how we get the community kind of reestablished in Madison. Then going out doesn't do any good. So.
It's also like just thinking about community, so people really understand what community is. Because like
that's true as well.
Like think about us as adults now, and me and Will are the only ones that's even in that group that's still here for the most part.
Gotcha.
And how we
holding it down,
and we created a community for ourselves where we communicate on a regular basis. But if I was to leave and go to Minnesota right now, I know Jamal could connect me with Jason Kemp. Like, hey. Jason, Jamal coming out there, connect with him.
Fisky's out there too.
Fisky, like there's communities that we.
Alicia Mack is out there.
So learning how to create the community within a community that you already have in general. So one, it starts with us individually. Like you got to get out of your own way. Like it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to reach out to somebody that might know somebody. That 6 degrees of separation is real.
It is.
Like, you are not far away from knowing somebody that you need to know wherever you at or wherever you're trying to go.
Yeah. And Lee, I wasn't saying like leaving to come. Like most of the time, people are going back home when they left from.
Oh yeah.
But I think that moving, and UB can tell you this, GB can tell you this, like leaving and coming back to Madison with a different mindset, you're less tolerant of foolishness that you would have dealt with and just thought was normal back then, right? So now you can push that status quo. Like even you're talking about somebody like Khalil, like that people that left and came back, and they're like, you know what? No, I've seen this work other places, and I've seen that we don't have to take this other places. Yeah. We ain't taking it here in Madison.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like if we got 50 kids that leave Madison, 30 are going back.
Yeah.
But now they're going back like raging against the machine versus like just going along with the status quo. And just to mention that, you mentioned Minnesota, Anisha Mack is in Minnesota. The Mack family is another family that is huge in Madison. That was a staple in Madison. We did not shout out yet. Yeah, rest in peace, Mr. Mack. Shout out Jeff.
My football coach.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Mr. Mack. He was always a cool dude, always genuine. And the Mack family, Jeff and Anisha.
Jeff Jr. doing big things, right?
The sisters your age, but Jeff and Anisha were my homies. Always. Yeah, Lainey was dope too. I had a huge crush on her growing up. But
everybody had a huge crush on her.
Yeah. They were always super cool.
I just coached her son. I still do got a crush on her.
How's her son? She got how old are her kids?
He's going to be a freshman. He was on my team. I coached him this year.
That's crazy. Yeah, because Jeff's kids are his oldest daughter's in high school, right?
She at West.
Yeah. Yo, Jeff was a problem.
My wife.
We'll get that sports show going. Never mind. We're going to get on the tangent.
Come on, I get lit on the sports, baby.
Listen, we don't get started on that, but
But no, I do want to shout out. I'm sorry, I don't want to disrespect my San Diego family. They did have a, but it derived from Wisconsin with Daryl Albritton.
Oh, Daryl.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Daryl.
That's my spot.
Yeah.
Pacific. So let's go.
Daryl, he started the youth choir at Mount Zion.
He passed?
Yeah, the youth choir. Yeah.
So we back then we only had the children's choir and inspirational choir, and then when Daryl and Renita came, they started.
And the young adult choir.
Was lit.
If you got a chance to put on the black
red slash, come on, you man. Come on.
Yo, when Lee did the pray, MC Hammer pray verse.
What am I missing here?
The young adult choir Mount Zion. It used to be just two choirs.
You upgraded to the red slash.
Oh, you snapped if you got elevated.
Yeah, and so in between that was a young adult choir, and you could not wait because it was three different like choir
and
roles.
it was more like a hip hop vibe.
Yes.
Yeah, we wanted to get out.
Remember MC Hammer had pray. We got to pray just to make it to the. We sang that. Lee did his verse. Lee and Phillip was a duo for that. Freaky Phil.
Yeah, freaky. Wow, freaky Phil. No, because what happened was.
Listen, Lee, I got to add you to the group chat. Like you're gonna, it's a whole different ball game with Phil and Mike Collins and all them on the group chat. But anyway,
that
was dope. We used to come like Will. We used to have almost like strolling, like fraternity strolling.
Yeah,
when we enter the sanctuary, we didn't just come down the center aisle. We would come down the center and both outside aisles with a different kind of stroll. It was like this red sash that was on the choir roll that was different. Like Andre Carly used to be up there down there in a full sweat.
Oh man,
in the choir.
No, man, the memories on that.
And the way they would go from the altar
every Sunday.
The way they would go from soprano to alto to tenor and just be going.
Oh,
so they were still in college. Renita Evans, Demetra Morgan, and Daryl Auburn. They were still in college. He was actually king, homecoming king. Anyway, so Kirk Franklin had just came out, and so they would listen to gospel music, and they incorporated all that into the young adult choir or the youth choir at the time, and that's why we was like, yeah, get the red sash. Yeah, I was on the drums getting it. But don't
get me wrong, we loved Auntie Carla in the children's choir.
Loved Auntie Carla.
But when
we were trying to get out that children's choir
with Daryl and them, like man, I enjoyed going. I used to kick out of children's choir rehearsal all the time with Carla. Me and Harry be acting stupid. Me, Harry, and Phillip get kicked out all the time being stupid in the choir in rehearsal. But when we went to young adult choir, Daryl and them were like 20.
Yeah, they were still young.
Like 19, 20, 21. They were used to dealing with knuckleheads like us. And so it was live. All right, rest in peace, Daryl.
Rest in peace, Daryl. But I actually moved out there with Daryl, and he actually started a community as well with the same kind of mantra with the Greeks and kind of bringing everything together.
But what you're saying is the reason for the podcast is just like that Madison community is South Side of Madison community was one of a kind. Like you literally just said it went and got replicated in San Diego.
No, for real. All the young youth, they all came together. We were a family. We started a church, you know what I mean? And we grew. We grew. And Terrell Fletcher came in, did a revival. He was actually playing in the NFL at the time. And that whole community just grew. I'm like, we kind of talk. We don't have the same kind of connection that we have growing up. But when we get back to San Diego, shout out Dago, Four Corners of Death. No, I shouldn't say that while we talking about community. But but that area, when we were over there in that area, it definitely, we still bond together when I go back. So it definitely can migrate. It definitely can be satellite.
Some of the stuff I do with my job now, with like building community with our alumni, comes from what I learned back then. Literally, it's just me doing this, trying to replicate the exact same thing we have now. Like I've been doing that since not even just with Posse where I work now, but like when I was with Parks and Rec organizations, I was the Boys and Girls Club, when I was in the school system, like it's all the same kind of thing. And like,
you're doing
it's been dope. Yeah.
So one of the other things I wanted to ask was like, what were some of the struggles you saw in our community back then?
Infighting.
I know you can speak to that.
Infighting.
The struggles that were there, whether it was visible to us then and we learned later, or just that you saw in general.
That I saw and learned from my parents were just like shade. There's a lot of shade. Like as much as we love Mount Zion,
lot of shade
that's going on in Mount Zion. A lot of like little cliques pulling off and being shady to each other, and there was a lot of like. This person moved out to the west side and got a little money, so then people want to try to gravitate towards them, and then kind of like being shady towards other people, and then nose up to other people, and this and that. And it's just
I don't even know if Vanessa's on this podcast or listening, but she definitely alluded to some of that today when she was, giving basically her farewell, kind of leaving to go. This is her last Sunday, but she definitely talked about like people didn't know what all she went through. And so I think that makes sense what y'all are saying. Like a lot of the different cliques or the different stuff that went on behind the scenes that most people don't know.
Yeah, and my parents have always been a lot more transparent with us than a lot of folks were with their kids, and so I'm positive I know a lot of stuff about just people being shady, certain predators in the church and in the community that did things to people and kids. And
Will smiling, I know he got something.
Will be known because Will, you remember Will was damn near grown back then.
Right,
like
Will is your parents' age.
Yeah. So like, but for real though, like it was a lot of stuff that my dad was very transparent about, like why we couldn't go sleep over certain people's houses, or why we couldn't go to certain functions, or why we ended up leaving Mount Zion when I was in like 9th, 10th grade. Like there's a lot of stuff going on that crab in a barrel kind of situations. Not just in Mount Zion, but Found the Life, Second
Society,
Baptist,
South
Side as a whole. Like when you have that kind of systematic oppression where folks feel like they're gonna fight for every crumb, like that ends up happening, right? So
man, that shit is like magnified times 12 in Madison now.
Yeah, so it's like it's different because there wasn't that much to go around back then, and so when you start to produce folks like we've been talking about on this call, it's even less to go around, and then now we become even more of a threat. So of course they got to tighten down even more, right? They got to kind of hoard the control even more. That's why you your select few, right? Like, and it's not a knock on them, but like outside looking in, and I don't know what it feels like back there, being back in Wisconsin, but when you're not in Wisconsin looking from afar, it looks like you see Alex G here, you see Michael Johnson out in the public and stuff like that, but you don't see a David Smith, right? You don't see a Arbery, you don't see like the folks that I know. What's my man that works at Boys and Girls Club too? Went to Fountain of Life. Is really cool, Michael Johnson. Big dude, beard. He been in our lives forever.
Big dude.
He works with Michael Johnson a lot. Glasses.
Oh, Anthony Cooper.
Cool. Like Coop's always cool.
Coop is one of the coolest cats you'll ever meet.
Ever, right? Monroe. A lot of people know Monroe. Like I don't see, like it's almost like there's only a select few people that they really want or will accept in those circles. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know, like that's different. Whereas like in Atlanta, I see a bunch of folks, you know what I mean, always in the spotlight. And it's some of the same stuff here too. Don't get me wrong, like some of the same stuff here, but it's different when you're in a city where your mayor, police chief, fire chief, like all the powers that be are the same demographic, right? So you come to more diverse city.
Too down there.
Say what?
So y'all got some stuff going on too down there, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Look, you gonna have that anywhere, right? Like, and so like I moved to Atlanta, and like Atlanta got this drama too. Don't get it twisted. Like some of the same BS you're gonna deal with in Madison, you're gonna deal with in Atlanta. But the difference is there's just more opportunity because there's more of us in positions to give opportunities to more of us.
Do you feel like it's a shift a little bit in Madison? Because I from afar,
I don't know. That's a Jamal question.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm asking. Because from afar, it does seem like it's not a lot. It's less shade going on. You kind of see.
No, it's more. I know it's more shade going on now.
Oh, never mind.
Way more.
Let me shut up.
You talking about dog eat dog world for now?
Way
like
more shade
because there's more money, and there's more nonprofits in the Madison area than any other area in the country.
So they're all fighting for the same.
So they're fighting for
the same. Wait. That's say that one more time. More nonprofits in one area
than it is in the rest of the entire country.
Wow, I didn't know this.
I didn't know that part either, but I could. A lot of stuff I've seen on social media makes sense.
Cause crabs in the barrel, yeah.
That's what I just said, Randy. Crabs in the barrel. I should see more Rainies, right?
Definitely should see more Rainies.
I should see more Rainies. Why don't I see more Rainies? In Atlanta, I see 30
Rainy hop on in here?
There's nothing, Rainy. Come on down here to Atlanta, Rainy. Come on down here to Atlanta.
Listen, me and Rainy didn't had a couple conversations, and I'm gonna just leave it at that.
So good to see you.
But I should see more of those, right? The fact that we don't lets you know what we're talking about. Like, there's way more. Like, I should see more Ed Holmes in Madison.
Absolutely.
So where do you go? So if I'm a guy coming into Madison, what's the first? Where do I go to find some sense of community, some sense of direction?
Well, yeah, if you leave it to Jamal, you'll never show up here.
Black guy going into like,
just don't come.
Why are you moving?
Right. But is there an organization? Is there a because some people, you got certain things. You got Epic out there. You got certain things out there that the university.
So that's the thing. There's a lot of people that will come in, and leave because there's not much here for us.
They're gonna do this with it.
You go, and I would definitely say that there's some more stuff that needs to be done on just city level. But again, like, we've learned that you got to create your own community, but most people don't stay here long enough to create it. I've tried to create a sense of community with different people, but I've also learned too, at times when I've tried to create it, some of the people that I'm reaching out to that are like-minded like myself have so many other things going on, whether they become new parents or they're in school or they're working 2 or 3 jobs to try and get, and it just hasn't worked at the same time, but it still hasn't stopped me from trying. And now that I've kind of gotten my footing, I do see a lot of people reaching out, like, and being super supportive or wanting to be a part of certain things. So sometimes it's just taking that step forward to create and do it, but be consistent. Because if you do it once and then you stop, it's not going to hold that same weight. So continuing to do it, even if people don't support right away, like Jamal talked about, like the Fueler Crutch stuff, like it's funny how it caught on and it ended up kind of going through the state. Same with some of the podcasting that I've been doing. When it first started, do you think people were really supporting or listening or jumping on board? Not at all. And then all of a sudden, I remember doing the Fueler Crutch workshop, and nobody would even let me do it for free at first. And then it started to gain some traction because 1 or 2 people started to. Then I couldn't even get $50 to do it. And then all of a sudden, people started like finding out, like, yo, this is really actually dope. And then it kind of just took a world of its own, and then ended up being in like the Madison 365 is like a top influential African-American leaders in the state. And it just kind of took a world of its own. And so, like, but you got to be consistent in it, and it don't matter who's supporting you, because what's meant to be is going to be. I mean, we all come from a spiritual background, so we kind of understand that.
And I think,
well, I don't know about Will.
To where, like,
Will a heathen.
Yeah, Will heathen. He'll put in the work when you need him to, though. But anyway, like, you and I talked about this before, is I think it's going to have to be similar to what Mount Zion did at first, right? I think you're going to have to go, like, even like for UB, and we've talked about that before. Is like, I think you got to go to UW, right, and get a lot of the new fresh blood when they come in as freshmen. You'll at least have them for 4 years. Right, there's 4 years of building, but every year you get a new class of folks that'll be there for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
If, let's say, over 10 years you work with 40 folks, if you can get 10 to stay and keep building, those are the building blocks for you.
And I will say, shout out to Pastor Allen at Mount Zion. He does a great job of
shout out to Pastor Allen.
He's been dope. He has been dope.
I also think he's our age, so he connects on a different level as well too.
Yeah. But I think that's what you have to do, right? I think that's the next step for Fueler Crutch is like, okay, how do you tie in these incoming freshmen every year at UW? Because here's another problem, like, and I'm not talking my job too much because we've said some things on here that I don't want really tied. That whatever I said on here is no reflection of the Posse Foundation and everything else.
Hey, you didn't even look. I would have never even I was you, I would have never said I work for him.
That don't even matter these days.
You said it twice already. But there are a lot of people don't know this. There are 4 different cities that come in through Posse to Atlanta, right? 10 kids from New York, Chicago, DC, and LA come in every year and get a complete culture shock, right? So there are every year there are, what is that, 4 times? That's 160 kids not from of color, not from Madison, who are on UW's campus, who are looking for community, right? And looking for something that looks similar to what they came from. And if you just stay at UW's campus and surround like Regent Street and surround, you're not going to find it anywhere. Now,
you said what campus?
At UW.
Okay. They're doing that now at UW?
They've been doing it for at least a decade.
You know what? I think my dad be having people over there. Yeah. Okay.
So like they don't know if you come 5 miles down Regent Street, down Park Street, you'll see a little something that's similar to what you came from, right? And so I think even for you, UB, I think the next step is connecting with those kids who want to be involved in something and give back, and bringing them over to the South Side, to volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club, or coming to talk to your students at Fuel or Crutch, or that want to coach with some of your teams and things like that. And I think you'll start to get some of them, especially kids from Chicago. Chicago and Wisconsin aren't that, a kid from Chicago can move to Madison and Milwaukee and still get home in an hour or two and not feel like I'm leaving, everything I know.
Right.
Right. And so just getting them tied in, similar to what Lee Senior did with the Student Gospel Choir and helping to build up the community in Mount Zion, is something you could do with not just Posse, but the People's Program and other grad students and PhD students that come into the city. Like when I linked you with my homegirls in the PhD program years ago, and y'all connected on a couple of things, right? It's like that's the way I think you fold it in, because they also don't have the BS political stuff and the pettiness behind the scenes that other people that has jaded other people in Madison. And they'll get involved in something because they don't have that jaded background from growing up here.
And the beauty is, if you think about just this podcast alone, we can give you everything that you want. If you want Ratchet and Heathen, we got Will. If you're looking in the music tip, we got Lee. If you're looking at the college stuff with the Posse does a million different things. You got Posse, Jamal who can connect you with a bunch of different things. So it's just literally like that's the piece, is creating your community and using each other, the connections that you have to kind of formulate those things.
No, for sure, man. So is that possible there? Are we running away from the community in Madison, I think it's just so?
It's definitely possible. It can definitely still happen, but at the same time, basically what Jamal said, like people do want to leave. Like Jamal has been trying to get me to leave for forever. My whole thing is like you be dope out here in Cali.
My
thing was I am going to be here through my kids getting through high school. Like that was something that I said I was going to do, and so I'm sticking with it. But
hold on, let's clarify.
3 years.
I was not asking you to leave his
4
kids.
Years?
Listen, I was not asking you to leave his kids. I was asking him to bring them with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's clear that up.
I wasn't saying that you were trying to get everybody out.
Right. He wasn't saying just drop all responsibility.
Alana and y'all, when y'all see this, I wasn't trying to get your dad to leave y'all. I was trying to get him to bring y'all to Atlanta.
But that's the other thing. Like, so going into that next thing is like, co-parenting is a real thing, and I don't know if a lot of people don't really understand.
Talk about community.
That's a whole nother community, because me and my mom have had our conversations, and she'll say certain things, and I'm like, yo, I'm co-parenting. That's not something that you ever did. My dad wasn't around, so whatever you say went. It wasn't no ifs, ands, buts, or asking nobody else. That's what it was.
Right.
When you're co-parenting, you just can't go grab, take them, and that's it. Like, you got to have real conversations to even think that's even possible. And if it's not, I'm just not in a position where I'm comfortable leaving them, because I don't want to.
You would hope it's possible.
Right.
It's a blessing if it is.
If it is, exactly.
No,
but,
yeah.
So, yeah, and you got to think about it. There's some people that leave or whatever and end up having, not whether it be from that co-parent or later that child's level of resentment because you left.
Yeah,
that's a lot, man. Try to unpack that.
Yeah, you can't leave.
So yeah, it's a lot that goes into all of that, and I think people have to be prepared for those tough conversations. But you got to have them with yourself first.
Yeah, my situation is kind of crazy, and I'll be a little bit transparent. With my girls being with their mom. Well, they're with me for a couple of years in the beginning, and then they went with their mom for like 7 years, and now they're with me again for the last 6 or so. And so just that whole dynamic and system and strategy and all the things that they kind of being at 4 or 5 different schools in about 3 years. You know, they needed some stability and things. So just trying to get understanding of community to a kid like that, co-parenting, going back and forth, not having systems in place. That's a whole conversation. And so who is that?
Is that Mike?
That's Mike Collins.
Man, you look old as dirt, man. What's up?
His old ass.
Nah, you now messing.
That's Lee, Will, and Yubi.
What up, Mike Con?
Oh, Will on that. Will, what's good?
What's good?
Hey,
Nah,
don't
you
say
look good.
nothing stupid. Don't say nothing stupid.
Now you look. Oh, there it is. Now I can see you. You look good. I lied.
That nigga look like a goldfish. Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you back as we get off this podcast. All right.
Mike Conley.
But again, that's still our community. Like it was a South Side. If you go from Simpson to Somerset back to Penn Park, like it's all love, especially from our age groups. What? Because if you think about what is Dakari, 36, 37?
No, he's 30. He'll be 37 next month because he'll be 38 next month. Excuse me, we're 5 years apart.
So, and if you think about it, like I know y'all still remember my little brother Darius, and Darius,
you got all the way down past Boosie and them.
Yeah, and you talked about it earlier when we talked about just
I don't remember
people saying, somebody else communicating for you. I'll never forget Boosie coming to me when I got older. It was just like, yo, Jamal, thank you. I was like, for what? He was like, man, you had no clue, but you were saying a lot of the same things that my dad and Reese were saying. I just didn't want to hear it from them. But you saying it, and I know you weren't talking to them, but you were saying it just out of genuine care that made a difference for me. So I was like,
just being at the center alone, there's a ton of gems poured into you. Just being at the center every day.
On all sides. The
Outside
good,
of
the bad, and the ugly.
Wait. You were at the center? You work at the center?
No, but we're just saying just being
being at the center. I got you.
Yeah, like it became even more like a teen hangout, Lee, after like you got a little older. Like my junior, senior year, like we were always there hooping. Staff used to run a basketball league out of there. There's a lot of stuff just going, like there was more open gyms there. You know, Deacon Bond had a Saturday morning basketball there. So there's a lot more community going on in that center for folks our age than when we were growing up. You know, when we were growing up, it was just for kids like when we were little, like elementary, middle school. It wasn't a lot for like high school and like young adults at the time. But later on,
it's back to that now. It's just little kids, like even younger than when we were there. Like
that's what Boys and Girls Club does, though. Yeah. But
I got a question for Will. So where'd you go to get your implants? You got like titty implant? I mean, chest implants?
Hey, we gonna get off this call for that one. So listen, I gotta go handle something to wifey anyway.
So I just want to leave with this question then.
Sorry,
I want to leave with this. Each person answer.
Feel like he's being left out. I just wanted to listen.
What is something that y'all would share with the community, just about community and how to go about getting it back, or something that you would love to see again?
I'll chime in first. I'm gonna get off in a second. But two things. One, we're here for you, right? You have a nationwide network. Two, start tying in the new college students coming into UW and getting them involved in the South Side and the history and all that kind of stuff and build our own community. But I got a dip. I'll let y'all a little later.
All right, Ange.
All right, Ange. We never met, but good to see you.
Oh, he gone. He can finna get a whooping.
Yeah.
I'll go with I think just safety, and I don't know. It's just crazy out here now. You know what I mean? Like everything.
Never forget what we was, Flip.
Everything's negative. You know what I'm saying? Like the negative is good now. You know what I mean? Just social media, all that. Like it's like guns, drugs, fighting, all that shit is like cool, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to somebody else's block, you might die that day. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't even, like, it's like that in Madison right now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Stop clout chasing. I feel you on that, Will. Like people be doing stuff for clout, and you'll lose your life.
Lee, you can't even I done had to back down from a couple young brothers because I know I'm gonna get shot. They can't whoop me. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's like, you know what I mean? And excuse me, I stepped on the shoe or they stepped on my shoe. It's just like the community. It's fucked up. I'm sorry. Excuse my language, but
no, that's real.
Yeah, like it's just, I think we need to just come together. Like, am I my brother's keeper? You know what I'm talking about? Like, I love brothers. Like, I love everybody. Like, we don't need to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't understand why we're so split.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And that's where I'm at with it. Like, I just don't even, I love, that's why, yeah. Yeah.
No, I definitely feel that and appreciate that. It like we got to change the narrative.
Right.
Like it's not cool to be dumb. It's not cool to be a demon. Right. Like, when did becoming a demon become praised?
Right.
I don't get it. I mean, and Lee, I don't know if you realize it or no, because you know you're not necessarily here like that. But Doc, you've heard of O Block?
O Block?
Yeah, like O Block in Chicago.
Like these heroes are like King, like
they're praising King Von like to the point where Madison has their own M Block. They've tried to duplicate the projects down in Chicago and duplicate it in Madison, where it's praised as M Block.
Yeah.
And where's this at?
On the east side.
It's right here, right by my house.
Wow. No, I didn't know all this. What was the question again? Man, y'all, my mind, y'all tripped me out. I did hear about the shootings and when I was there, about 10 people. So I kind of got a little bit, but I didn't know it was like an ongoing thing.
It's not. Madison ain't the same as what we grew up in. Like you said, like Will said, like, oh, I know if it came down to throwing hands, it is what it is, and we move on the next day. Ain't nobody throwing no hands.
You're getting shot.
What was your question, sir?
So it was just more of like, what would you like to see from the community, or to try and get back to community?
Well, I think I did have something in mind, but not just to say that.
The crazy thing is like I talked to your pops and was just talking about how what is missed was just he went to every school and created these songs that there's a decade of people that know his songs and could come together. Like he could do an all city attitude adjustment and everybody that's in that 10 reunion, and everybody would be singing the song and don't even know each other.
That reunion would be crazy. And I'm sorry I didn't give my dad a just due in my explanation of him, but because that every other day somebody text me, oh man, I know your dad. We sang this in high. I'm like, dang, for real. So, but no, that's tough. That's a tough question, Jamal, because like I literally went home and I wanted to bring people together. Like you saw me pressing shirts. I don't know if you saw me pressing shirts on Juneteenth, but like I want to bring in the community so much, and I get so much love when I come home. So much love. And I appreciate Madison as a whole. So it's tough to hear certain things like that where people can't you're right. You're right. He made history. Look, Kendrick Lamar made history, but we'll talk about that. But no, I would definitely love to do something like that. And because of the crab in a barrel mentality and the shade that's being thrown, sometimes your kindness is looked at as a threat.
A weakness.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, what are you trying to get? What you trying to get? No, I'm genuinely trying to work with you or trying to help you because I want to see you move. I want to see you progress, man. And I genuinely feel that way. And so it's a little difficult, some of the pushback because of the business that needs to go on. But what I would love to see is that block party built back up. I used to love wanting to go on Saturday with the black party and have my towel matching my shoes with my hat, you know what I mean, and see everybody and eat and play in the games and stuff like that. So
I will say this, shout out to the third installment of the block party. Julian Walters with Juju's block party.
It's going good.
That's definitely a good look. It's actually August 17th. It's the same day as my back to school event. But it's a full day thing. Mine is it's got an AM session, a PM session, and once my sessions are done working with the 40 kids that I'm gonna work with, I'm coming right down to the block party to check it out too. So
Yeah.
Man, it's definitely gonna be dope. And so no, I definitely appreciate Julian doing that. And Julian was one of my little guys. Like Julian, kind of, I was one of Julian's mentors to help him and just navigate through things and help him talk him through certain things before he got off and went off to college. So it's always dope to give back and just see them doing things that just is pride in the city.
Yeah, I don't know Julian, but
you know Romy,
whatever he's doing, I know him.
You know Romy,
yeah,
right?
Rome, yeah.
Brother.
Oh, Sugar and them brother?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You know, but yeah, so that's super dope. You know, to hear that. Even when I went back for Juneteenth, man, just to see the parade, see all the different people that I ain't seen in decades, but still, it still was a family community love. Right. So I don't know about all the shade and stuff that's going on, but I felt the love. And I feel like if you keep building on that and keep seeing those things, like you said, Julian is doing great things with Block Party, the Juneteenth, and keep these communities. You said the most nonprofit organizations per square foot in the country. So, you know, teaming up with the Urban League, I don't know how that conjunction is. I don't know, but man, it's got to be something in there. I know Alex G just broke ground, so it's got to be something. So I would love to see a Voltron, if you will, of people in that community trying to make it happen, you know. And I feel like it can happen. It's just conversation. A lot of the times these people are in,
You said Voltron. I feel you.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, yeah, we should. I mean, at this juncture, with Alex G being there as long as she has, Pastor Allen is doing amazing things. You know, I was an armor bearer, and I'll say this and I'll shut up, but I was an armor bearer for a good 10 years of my life, right? So just to see his charisma, his knowledge, his comedic ability to be able to touch these young youth, and I saw the Badgers in there. Like, he has something super, super great at Mount Zion, but we'll talk about that later. So if there could be something like that can come together, a Voltron, like I said, if you will, a synergy, because it's all about I feel like it's all about, I want to be in position, I want to be in power, because it was so small in Madison. But now, like you said, the money's flowing, the community dollars are there. So then figure out how we can work together and make that, when I come back home and I see my kids and bring my kids home, I want them to go to the block party and be like,
they can see what we experience.
Yeah, man, this is who I grew up idolizing. This is who I grew up looking at, and these are all your people. These are all your cousins from afar. You know what I mean? So that's what I would like to see.
I definitely appreciate that, man. Y'all hold tight. I'm gonna wrap this thing up, but stay on once it ends. So I definitely appreciate everybody tapping in, tuning in. This is a Fuel of Courage podcast. Let's talk about it. This is the summer edition. We talked about community, so I appreciate y'all tapping in, y'all communicating for the people, and anybody and everybody that tapped in. I appreciate y'all. Until next time.
We ain't giving out handles.
Go ahead, give out your handle. Go ahead.
Lee Stanley __. Lee's Lens _
On what social media platform?
On Instagram. Right. Yeah.
Will Smith, what you got?
I got nothing.
OE 40 ounce. Go get him.
Get rid of them seltzers, bro.
Hey, we love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all.